Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Vanderbilt basketball remains unbeaten after they beat Alabama 96-90 at Memorial Gym last night in a top 15 matchup. Sophomore guard Tyler Tanner scored a game-high 29 points in the win for the Commodores. In NFL news, the Dolphins are moving to phase 2 of their GM search with in-person interviews. They have 4 candidates remaining in Chargers assistant GM Chad Alexander, Dolphins interim GM Champ Kelly, Packers VP of player personnel John Eric Sullivan, and 49ers director of scouting and football operations Josh Williams. The Saints, per Adam Schefter yesterday, are preparing for quarterback Tyler Shuck as their starting quarterback in 2026. He went 5-4 in 9 starts in his rookie season. Also, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are retaining head coach Todd Bowles, as Bowles said yesterday that he will return next season as coach. And a big trade in the NBA last night as the Atlanta Hawks traded 4-time All-Star guard Trae Young to the Washington Wizards for C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into your Thursday morning at 104.5 The Zone. It starts right here on Ramon and Will. Hope you're having a good start to your morning. Hope we can make it go by a little bit more quickly for you. 615-737-1045 is our number. We got more thoughts on the Titans' process of hiring its next head coach. You can just call today Matt Nagy Day. We'll talk a lot about him as a candidate, the positives, the negatives, why he may be the best choice in some ways to be the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans. The Athletics' Dan Pompei will join us at 8:20, breaking down a column that he wrote a week ago about the former Bears head coach, now Chiefs offensive coordinator. Lots of good insight in that you will hear from a lot this morning. Coach Mack at 7:20. Thursday 3 is back on Thursday. And the whole crew is back together. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, 615-737-1045. Ramon, today is a very, very interesting and special occasion.
Today's the 8th. It's a Thursday, Friday, Junior. There's football. We've always had football, so you have to enlighten me on how it's a special occasion today. What's going on, Will? What did I miss?
Today is Thursday.
Yep.
Oh, that was it. Today's the first time we've worked a Thursday since December the 18th.
Yes. Speaking of that, man, I hop on the ramp to get on Vietnam veterans, man, and traffic was heavier. I'm guessing it's the same as you and I recognize right now. People are still going to work in droves. I've never seen traffic that busy this morning. I always kind of gauge, okay, where's the week? And this is the first week I think everybody is back, including us. 4 days in a row of working. It has been nonstop, stop and go this entire holiday season, to your point. It's not like we're digging ditches or anything like that.
No, but there are a lot of people out there that are doing a 5-day work week for the first time in a very long time. If that's you this morning, maybe just 3 more notches of volume, an extra shot of coffee, an extra little pour. Maybe it's one of those where you steal a sip before you put the coffee pot back. And all right, let me just get another. let me take a sip of this. Let me just get a little bit more coffee. We all got to help each other. We're going to be there for each other. We will persevere through a 5-day work week.
Yes, we will.
It's been a minute. But we will get through this together, all of us.
The bed definitely was looking at me this morning like, you've been here the last 2 weeks, sir.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
It has been, the biggest adjustment I've had to make is actually going to bed sooner.
Okay.
That to me has been, because I'm going to wake up, even on an off day, 6:05. I'm just not in that world of sleeping to 9 o'clock or anything like that. Like some days I've laid around to 8:39. You know what I'm saying? Just chilling, but I'm up. As far as sleeping, I'm up. I've had to tell myself at 8:45, okay, start getting into your mode.
Sure.
And by 9:30, it is time to go to bed. My youngest last night was one of those guys, though, too. He ended up just hanging around longer than he probably should have. He's going to be tired today, is what I'm telling you. We went out for a nice, well, no, it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice. It was a nice establishment. Went out for, easy birthday dinner last night. Went to ML Rose, man, up in Gallatin last night.
Love that place so much.
Listen.
Slide in our DMs. I'd love to be paid to endorse you.
You the one that put me on to them also. So y'all slide in the Will's DMs first. And listen, all I need is gift cards. That's how they can get me, okay? Because I will say by far some of the best restaurant nachos, I think, of any restaurant.
Yeah, they don't miss. When the Toby Keith song, I Love This Bar, if I were to sing that, I'd be talking about ML Rose. Again, no free shout-outs, but yes, absolutely.
They've earned that one is what
they absolutely have.
They have earned it, man. But
absolutely have.
It's the nighttime for me. And then also, too, I've almost conditioned myself like to get to the weekend. Like when we clock out at like 10 o'clock on Fridays, I'm like, whew. Like breather, just because. I don't know. I've become that weekend hopeful guy.
Very
I
fair.
enjoy the weekends, though, too. And by the way, one of the best things you could ever do, too, while in a relationship, married, is day dating.
Especially
okay?
if you work mornings and get to work at 6 in the morning.
Listen to me. Crowds easier. You get the same goals accomplished.
Sometimes you get a happy hour with it.
Oh my gosh. Specials are a part of it. Like, I'm telling y'all, if you ever want to go and like just take it to the next level to where you just got the energy for the rest of the day dating. Just get you or dinner at like 4, 5 o'clock at the latest.
Okay.
That is the sweet spot.
Strong.
Do you hear me?
I like
Strong endorsement of that.
I like it. 615-737-1045 is our number. You stream us, of course, live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. We have a poll that we put up yesterday afternoon that we will talk a lot about this morning because we're going to talk about Matt Nagy today. Former Bears head coach, current Chiefs offensive coordinator, one of many strong candidates. Vegas would tell you he is the strongest candidate. Dan Pompei of The Athletic wrote a great piece about him that we're going to dive into a little bit coming up here in about 15 minutes. Dan will join us at 8:20 this morning. But I am curious about fan opinion on Matt Nagy that we're going to talk more about this morning. We are going to put out Titans hire approval ratings on if the Titans were to hire X, Y, or Z coach, Matt Nagy, Robert Saleh, Kevin Stefanski, Mike McCarthy, John Harbaugh, and we're going to use the same method and kind of track the results because I'm curious how you guys feel about some of these candidates. We've got strongly approved, somewhat disapprove, and strongly disapprove. We've just retweeted this again at Ramon and Will on Twitter. 6% of you strongly approve so far. 29% somewhat approve, 35% somewhat disapprove, and 31% of you strongly disapprove. So with those results, Ramon, 66% of our voters so far, again, early into this poll, would disapprove of the Matt Nagy hire.
They would disapprove?
I'd love to know why. 615-737-1045 at Ramon and Will on Twitter. We want to hear from you. If you like Matt Nagy, if you don't like Matt Nagy, curious your thoughts, and you'll hear our thoughts as well coming up about this in a few minutes.
Disapprove of Matt Nagy, and again, I'm not here to convince anybody on how they should feel as a fan, most definitely. But this is the same way I felt about Liam Cohen type of situation. Like it's one of those ones where the organization got to kind of go with it, and it's kind of quirky and kind of weird, but it's probably gonna work, And Matt Nagy ain't even quirky or weird. This is a guy that's getting his second spin opportunity to be a head coach, and I'm really just fascinated to see how it's going to go work out. Like if players have the ability to redeem themselves in their careers, I think coaches probably fall under that belt too, because I'll throw a name out there, Pac-Man Jones, bam. Michael Vick is another guy that's got a second opportunity. Sam Darnold is another one. Sometimes
Malik Willis,
oh my gosh. I saw somebody a couple days ago tweet about him and said Malik Willis is going to garner $40 to $50 million this free agency cycle right here.
like total or per year?
I'm not sure. They didn't say which one it
Gotta be
was. But Justin Fields got that. So, yeah, probably total.
Yeah.
So, about 20 a year, probably for 2 years or something like
My
that.
guess would probably be in Indianapolis.
It could be.
Would make a lot of sense.
Somebody mentioned Pittsburgh.
So
either way, what I'm saying is
Right.
this. Grace is given to players. I feel like far more often. But even in that grace to players, though, Will, like, it's time. Time is the only way you can see this through, whether you were right or whether you were wrong.
yesterday, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler wrote a piece at ESPN.com with intel on all 32 teams and their coaching staffs and situations. He wrote the following about the Titans. While the Titans could focus on offense-minded head coach candidates due to the need to develop Cam Ward, Tennessee is legitimately intrigued by a handful of defense-oriented candidates too. San Francisco's Robert Saleh is one. Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula is another. The Titans will be open-minded, knowing they can pair a defensive head coach with a strong, established offensive play caller. Some of the candidates to interview for the head coaching position could become coordinator options too. Landing a strong staff for the head coach is paramount for Tennessee's new front office. It's ESPN national insider Jeremy Fowler writing yesterday. Pretty much confirms, Ramon, what we've suspected.
Yeah.
The former head coaches that are available today are getting the first interviews. And next week, when the defensive coordinators who are still coaching and getting ready for postseason games become available, it's fair to assume there's going to be another wave of candidates and defensive coaches that are in a week.
Yeah. And the way this is somewhat playing out too, I know he's the white whale of this coaching search, Harbaugh, but it does seem like this is going to be a slow process because even he said, of course, I mean, he's just gone through a dramatic firing in Baltimore, but he's not going to start his interview process till next week. You know, I think a lot of people just wondering when he's going to jump into that boat too. And you mentioned these other coaches and their playoff teams, and you know they got to get the okay from their front offices for these sitting coordinators. But I to that point though too, Will, the waves of interview, I think it's going to be a longer process than I feel like the last hiring search was here too, just on the basis of being thorough and seeing how they're going to build a staff up.
Today, the Titans are scheduled to talk with Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. Yesterday, they spoke with Lou Anarumo, Colts defensive coordinator, and Broncos DC Vance Joseph in virtual interviews. Tomorrow is Jason Garrett. Saturday is Kevin Stefanski, according to SI.com's Albert Breer.
I had to talk a real strong Titans fan off the ledge about Jason Garrett yesterday. Not talk him off the ledge.
Make it make sense?
I had to kind of I had to make it make sense. It's not even a fascinating ask of the Titans or Jason Garrett for that matter to be considered for a head coaching candidate or whatever role that he's going to play with a team. To me, anybody that coach loves to coach. You know, that's just kind of how it goes. You love sports. I love sports, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, we're all the way in. You still have that itch. I will say last night for the first time I was looking at something somebody sent me. It was football. It was when I was playing. I was thinking to myself, man, I missed this. No, it's the clip I sent you.
Yeah.
The clip I sent you were just clips of big moments. And I was like, man, I kind of missed that a little bit. And maybe that's what Jason Garrett is as far as his interview goes.
Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. We give you our first impressions of Matt Nagy and learn more about the former Bears head coach who is talking with the Titans reportedly virtually today. What do you like or not like? 615-737-1045. If you've got a strong opinion on Matt Nagy, we'd love to hear it. We'll talk more about him coming up next. Ramona Will at 104.5 The Zone, kicking off your Thursday morning here on the program. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling, Coach Tate McGinnis at 7:20, Dan Pompei of The Athletic at 8:20, and Thursday 3 picks for the NFL and college football playoff games upcoming this weekend, which start tonight. That'll be at 9:20 tonight, or no, today, 9:20 when we talk Thursday 3. So Matt Nagy is talking with the Titans today about the head coach position, Ramon. And this is the first round of interviews. It is virtual. It is the first step in what many believe is a process that will result in Matt Nagy being the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. We were asked to predict this the other day for our Zone social media. He was my prediction, Ramon, because he's the safest pick right now, considering his relationship with Titans GM Mike Morganzi. As you look at his resume, do you want to go through the positives of what you like about him or the negatives of what you question about him?
Let's go positives first, because I feel like the negatives are going to come in droves. And Will and I are taking calls on this one, man. Call.
Yeah.
Voice.
I'd love to hear your thoughts if you're a Titans fan out there that's got a strong opinion on Matt Nagy. 615-737-1045. Whether you think he'd be great or whether you think he'd be awful. 615-737-1045. Start with the positives, Ramon. What do you like about Matt Nagy?
Taking a 5-11 Chicago Bears team, and taking them to 12-4 with a rookie quarterback. I love that. I like how he was able to build a Chicago staff to get them to a point to where they were relevant and hopeful in 2018. Vic Fangio being his defensive coordinator, I thought was huge, being able to pull from that pocket. So it lets you know that his Rolodex of being able to reach out and get coaches was super unique, man. I thought that was interesting, looking at the way his staffs were built in a world in which Chicago's got a lot of pride, got a lot of doggone history, and he was capable of doing that. I like that, too, because for me, in that first year that he had, whether it was a surprise or whether it was luck or whether it was all his skill, okay? Because all this has to be contributed to his time in Chicago. To me, he has a proof of concept of being able to do it. He's won. You know, I always say that about rookies, right, or players in the league. They got to have moments. Like Matt Nagy has had a moment. To be quite honest with you, with how his career panned out, being brutally honest, it's the exact same pathway that Mike Vrabel walked.
There are some similarities.
Very similar, Will.
The difference between him and Mike Vrabel, to me, Ramon, is that he's not had the playoff success that Mike Vrabel had.
Understood.
And a lot of his wins came in one season. Mike Vrabel was able to sustain a little bit more moderate success over a longer period of time.
I mean, the way it crashed and burned the last 2 years.
He had one winning season. Right? It was just a really good winning season. Mike Vrabel had more than one winning season. That's what I mean.
Very true, but my point in saying like it's similar to Vrabel is they both essentially hit the mountaintop of what it felt like to succeed and take a franchise from nothing to something. And I think the same way we view players as he to me is the former first-round draft pick almost in a sense. You always feel like there's something there. And if he's being considered here as a head coach, and it seems like, whether it's Coach Morganzi, Mike Morganzi, or Chad Brinker, they see that as part of his attributes. And maybe there's growth. We always say we judge players not by the first year, but by that third year in. Now, I know he crashed and burned in Chicago by his third year as a coach, but the retread of him taking this job, I think, needs to be taken super serious, more serious than being overly hopeful and very brash about it being John Harbaugh or nobody. I think that's, to me, is the most flagrant thing that's going to go against anybody that's hired here is either John Harbaugh from a fan's perspective or nobody. Who's to say that John Harbaugh wants this job? This goes twofold. So let me go back to the positives also on Nagy, too. Has shown that he can develop quarterbacks. He's given credit for also being able to facilitate what Alex Smith had as a quarterback, too. Just the DNA of how they wanted him to come along as a quarterback. Same went for Patrick Mahomes.
Because his last game as Chiefs OC the first time around was the Titans' win in Arrowhead, which ended the Alex Smith QB1 era in Kansas City.
Yes.
He was instrumental that season in Alex Smith having a pretty fine year.
He did.
Yeah.
So is that part of it? And then I think the better part, too, is I don't think you'll have him as your day-to-day play caller. He said that's to be the case. Getting Dan Pompei on later today will get those answers as to why he feels this way moving forward. And I think the other part, too, we had Brooke Pryor on yesterday, and the questions about Arthur Smith being under Mike Tomlin, how has that changed him? Does he want to be a head coach and what he's learned? Matt Nagy's operated for the last 3 years under one of the best coaches in the NFL, and Andy Reid.
That's his guy.
That's his guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you read it, they sit down and have weekly lunches and discuss what they will do, what they should have done, and all. Like the mentorship that Andy's giving him right now, you'd hope make him a better CEO. Because to me, here's the other thing too about selecting Nagy. You're asking him to come in and also be a facilitator of the entire facility. Players, coaches, front office, to be quite honest with you, a different CEO role is what you're asking him to do. I think Andy does that well. I think Sean McVay, Peyton, all those guys do that well.
I think in his current position, Dan Pompei wrote about this, says Matt Nagy relays play calls from Andy Reid to Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, draws up game plans and influences the offensive philosophy. He came up with the offensive slogan for 2025, AAF, which Nagy says can stand for Andy's Air Force, as well as aggressive as, and an F word, a four-letter F word.
Yeah.
Reid is the primary play caller, but says Matt Nagy often makes suggestions. Quote from Andy Reid to Dan Pompei in The Athletic. And if I feel like I'm in a rut, I give it to him and let him dial it up. I guess the point is, if he's got something he likes, you go call it. I have that kind of trust in him. I think what I like about Matt Nagy the most is he has done this before and has learned from what did work and from what didn't work. Because there were things that did work. With Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, replaced by Nick Foles, they draft Justin Fields. Dan Pompei writes, as his team unraveled, Matt Nagy became more open, too open, to suggestions from players, assistants, and staff members. That resulted in a string of changes in the weekly schedule and routine. Goes on to write, Dan Pompei, Nagy knows now that if he becomes a head coach again, he will try to hire an assistant who will tell him when he's off course, like he does with Andy Reid. He didn't have that in Chicago. There's a learning experience that you've had to have that I think you like for any of these head coaching candidates. And that's why, Ramon, head coach experience is so critical.
And to be fair for him, too, he lost Vic Fangio after that first year. Vic went and became the head coach for the Denver Broncos, and that lasted only 3 years for him, too.
And without him, the Bears went from first in the league in interceptions and third in sacks to 25th in interceptions and 24th in sacks.
Yeah.
So the offense that Matt Nagy had elevated with this great defense with Vic Fangio, then all of a sudden he loses the defense, and the offense didn't really take that next step forward with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback after the double doink, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I think the other thing I like, obviously, is just the relationship with Mike Borgonzi. If Mike Borgonzi believes that Matt Nagy is a good head coach, I trust Mike Borgonzi's stamp of approval. I think he has earned the benefit of the doubt. I think it's fair, Ramon, to always start by giving coaches and GMs the benefit of the doubt and let them either lose it or add on to it and gain more equity and more trust. But if those two see football the same way, I'm okay with that because I like the way Mike Borgonzi sees football.
So, and that's where I want to go before we go further, too. The way he sees football, too. To me, this is how Matt Nagy sees football as it pertains to the quarterbacks that he's coached. Think about the guys that he's had. Mitch Trubisky, for what he was, he put him in space. He RPO'd him. He allowed him to get outside the pocket. Alex Smith, the exact same thing. He RPO'd him. He allowed him to get in space. There's spacing. Cam Ward is a what style of quarterback, Will, that people want to see here?
RPO?
Get them in space, roll them out, use of weapons. He aligns with what you're looking for the future of Cam is kind of the way I see it. And I think if he's not calling the plays, I'll say this, he'll have some influence on the type of OC that he wants to be able to pair with a guy like Cam Ward. Sometimes it's about this works for me and us. It makes no sense for you to, respectfully, I'll say this, to be driving a Rolls Royce and you live in the projects. Okay, it's not okay for you to be. Oh, I'll go a step further. It's not okay for you to be driving a front wheel drive car when you live on a big farm and you deal with livestock. You need a dually, and it seems to me, or a big truck. It seems to me that this style of coaching might fit the type of quarterback if that's the most important thing to you for your team moving forward. Because
very fair.
If he crashes and burns Cam because he wants to Cam sit in the pocket and be a drop back guy the way RG3 said he wanted to be in Washington for those years, right? No, you're a rollout guy. You utilize your athleticism.
Very fair.
You get my point on that one?
100%.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the similarities between Cam Ward as a rookie and Mitch Trubisky as a rookie. Not to say they're close to the same level of talent or same quarterback, but Mitch Trubisky was going into year 2 and then had Matt Nagy hired as his head coach going into his sophomore season in the NFL. If I were to give you this stat line for Cam Ward in 2026, you'd take it in a heartbeat, what Mitch Trubisky was. Now, you probably wouldn't take what Mitch Trubisky's rest of his career was or is. But if I gave you this season, 7.4 yards per attempt, 67% completion percentage, 24 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, 3,200 yards. This is in 14 games for Mitch Trubisky. 95.4 quarterback rating with only 24 sacks taken. Ramon, would you take that for Cam Ward in 2026?
I think you take that.
95 quarterback rating, 24 sacks, 24 touchdowns, and 7 yards per attempt, 7.4 yards per attempt. Absolutely, you take that.
Now,
yes.
The thing that Nagy's got to deal with, too, is the rest of the team and the defense.
That's true.
That's the other part for
That's
him.
true.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick pause before we get to the negatives on Nagy. Let's go to the phones. John in Columbia wants to chime in this morning. Hey, John.
Morning, John.
So I know y'all got the whole coaching thing going on. I don't want to, completely throw you off of what you're doing, but I was just kind of curious on what your guys' end of the season grades were for each position group. And also back to the coaching thing, I heard a report yesterday that Kaharski said that Borgonzi's relationship with
Nagy?
No, McCarthy is not that great, and that's why he's not getting an interview when it was originally, he was the top guy when it was first all, starting. So I was just wondering how much truth do you think there is to all that, and happy belated birthday, Ramon.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Down
Appreciate
in
the call.
Columbia, man.
I don't know what the Mike McCarthy process looks like right now. It was not about Borgonzi. It was some comment that was made about Brinker, and I think that got taken out of context by Tic Tac Titans on Twitter. I don't think that was ever said based on what the Twitter fight that I saw.
There was a fight going on.
Yeah, I don't know. John, to be honest, I don't know all the details of what was said or what wasn't. I can't speak to that. I didn't hear the comments, and I don't know the context, so I have no idea.
I was unaware.
No idea. From my understanding, I think there's still a long process that's going to happen here, and we'll see if Mike McCarthy's part of it or not. I have no idea. I have no inside knowledge of whether or not Mike McCarthy is going to be brought in. I know what Easton Freeze has written as well, that he expects there to at least be an interview or at least a conversation, but I don't know the answer to that yet.
To give it, I would say this, John, with almost anybody, people hold grudges if that is the case. And I almost feel like if he didn't get one, it would be understandable. If he did get one, that's fine too.
Yeah, we'll see.
My point of it is people have their favorites in these types of situations, but I would almost guess Borgonzi's not a guy that cares what somebody says about him, or he's grown enough to not have a grudge. I would hope.
I think it was more a Brinker and McCarthy topic, but again, I don't know the context of the comments, so I can't speak to something I'm not a.
Chad can now go to him and say, "I'm the captain now." I'm the one with the job out here.
To the question too about grading the positions, there'll be time to do that. We may do that later next week.
Is there any A group, just real quick, just to preference why? I feel like you got to give an A to the defensive line, or B plus at most. At least a B plus.
I have a hard time giving A. I give an A plus to Jeffrey Simmons.
I was just gonna say Jeff.
I don't know if the run defense was consistent enough over the whole season to say A.
I do one.
Maybe kick return or punt return.
Yeah, sure.
with DK.
There it is.
That's just kind of a one-man position, though.
We're definitely.
But that's
do
the
that
most improved.
We're trying to find some kind of A.
one. We are.
That's the best kind of A you're
It's
gonna
like
get.
when you bring home a bad report card and it's like, oh, you got an A in art. Like, yeah, Mom, I showed up. I was on time to class. I found a way to get C's in art. In art. Well, as someone who got a B in jogging in college, I don't really have much to
I
say
did
about
too. I don't think they
Did you
passed. I did. I don't think they gave A's for that class, man.
I swear the most difficult graders in college are the teachers of classes that no one cares about.
Nobody.
So they're trying to convince themselves that they're
Bowling, I
important.
did get an A though. I got an A in bowling at the UC Center.
Did you have to
take bowling?
calculate how to
I
score?
know how to score.
Yeah.
a card.
We did that.
Kinda
We did
difficult.
that in elementary school.
You know how to score a card?
In bowling?
Yeah.
Is that not something you did in PE in elementary school?
No.
I actually
Yeah.
took a class of that in college.
We had bowling at PE where you would get
out.
little laundry hampers
Yeah.
for the pins.
Oh, yeah.
And like you'd have two kids that are putting the pins back up, one kid on returning the bowling ball, and then somebody that's bowling. And you'd all rotate. So somebody would bowl and you go to the next station and you'd go in a circle. And you learn how to score it on paper.
I learned how to score volleyball.
Back when kids
in
used
that
pen
era.
and paper.
Yeah, they don't
Volleyball, that's just one.
No, it's
Two.
not. It's the rotation
Three.
of the volleyball players on the court
Okay,
too.
all right.
Yeah.
Let me give you respect. All right, when we come back, the negatives on Matt Nagy. What are the red flags? And open for your phone calls if you got a strong opinion. 615-737-1045. What do you like or not like about the Titans head coach candidate who meets with the team reportedly today? More on Nagy coming up next. Wrapping up hour one on Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. He is the 11-year NFL vet, Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling, 615-737-1045. Ramon, why are people so out on Matt Nagy? And 66% of our poll voters disapprove of him to some degree. What are the red flags about his resume, in your opinion?
Currently, the Kansas City offense rankings and production is where that is. And to be quite honest with you, peel back the layers. The year they won the Super Bowl, the defense was monstrous. That offense hasn't, I don't think, averaged over 25 points the entire time he's been there. It's been hit or miss. Now, there's more context to be given in those situations right there. No Tariq Hill being a part of that that's kind of crushed him. No definite answers at wide receivers. Why is that the case? Is that him? Is that the front office? When it comes down to their production, yes, you have Patrick, but what else is there besides him and Kelsey? The incorporation of tight ends. And I think one of the other things, too, that's going to play a part in it is what actual style of ball are you going to play here? Is it going to be RPO, get outside the box, or a good bit of this fan base is clamoring for John Harbaugh because he is a smash mouth type of coach? The transition or the hybrid style of ball that you need to play here to satisfy the field and the fans, can he actually do it? Because I'm not sure if we saw that from Isaiah Pacheco and Patrick Mahomes consistently enough to make it feel good about him being able to take you to the next step.
Yeah, and to that point, statistically, Matt Nagy has had one rushing offense finish in the top 10 in the NFL in all of his time as Kansas City OC, Chiefs OC the second time around, or Bears head coach. And that is 8 seasons as a coordinator or head coach. I think you're right. I think a lot of it is what Kansas City's offense looks like today. Yeah. He has been a part of 2 Super Bowl wins, 3 Super Bowl games in Kansas City. He was the OC in 23 when they won it. He was the OC last year when they lost it. And obviously this year is the OC when they aren't in the playoffs. In 2023 when they won it, he was OC and they finished 9th in scoring offense, 15th in scoring offense, 9th in total offense. I think to me the challenge with Matt Nagy is a lot of the best teams he's been on have succeeded because of the defense. He gets credit for that as the head coach of the Bears.
He would.
And he hired Vic Fangio.
Yep.
And in 2018, in his first season, the Bears had the number 1 scoring defense and the number 3 total defense in terms of yardage. I'm not taking that away from him, but as an offensive coach, when your wins have come in spite of your offense and because of your defense, Ramon, I think that's where some of it breaks down a little bit with Matt Nagy. To be fair, that season in 2018, they were 9th in scoring offense.
Yep.
They weren't bad, but they won a lot of games that season in 2018 because of Vic Fangio.
And his D coordinator was Pagano for 2 of those years, too, from, 19? Chuck Pagano, yeah, 19 and 20. Then in 21, he goes and who was this, Sean Desai?
Yeah, and that didn't last long.
Sean Desai, respectfully.
I'm not familiar with that name, to be honest with you.
42-year-old guy.
Yeah. I think the other part of Matt Nagy that's unfair, Ramon, is the way he was characterized in Chicago based off of one image. And that's the picture of him with his jaw dropped after Cody Parkey double doinked a field goal to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round of the NFC playoffs. That is the lasting image of Matt Nagy's tenure in Chicago. I don't think that's fair. But I do think that public perception, when we think Matt Nagy, we think of the still image of him looking at the field, shocked, with his jaw drop, mentally probably saying a lot of words, many of them we can't use on the radio.
Yeah, I'm there with you. And here's the thing. Nobody in Chicago acknowledges that 2018 season of Nagy's too. His reputation is that he's a dud without giving any credit to bringing Chicago back. And here, can I be honest too, I got, friends in other markets that report too. I got a real good friend that reports out of the Giants. They don't think the Titans have even a single sliver of an opportunity to get John Harbaugh.
Yeah, Giants folks really believe that it's Giants or bust for John Harbaugh.
I've even my source in New York is just reported also two things is Giants or Cleveland for Harbaugh. The Titans conversation don't come up to them. Now that's their opinion and perception, and the only reason I bring that up is I think this franchise, this team, whoever the coach is going to be to, and this is where Nagy is going to have to prove himself. He's going to have to overprove himself. The legitimate building up, rebuild of a team, he's going to have to conquer that too, because there is a lot of open gaps and holes on this team, though, too, that I feel like other teams are more complete with. Now, asking yourself for a coach that's in his 60s, like John Harbaugh, as accomplished as he is, does he want to take this job to do all of that when he, quite honestly, never has had to in Baltimore? Is going to be fascinating. Like, and then the other thing that you got to ask yourself, too, about Harbaugh, and here's the thing, I would absolutely love it for Harbaugh to be here. If we can redo our rank, I'm taking Harbaugh. I want you to know I would love him here. He is my number one.
But we've got to be open-minded and understand that there's more than one good candidate available for the Titans.
Absolutely.
He may be the best one. It doesn't mean he's the only one.
But he got to pick you.
Agreed.
Is that part of it, too?
Yeah, for sure. Daryl's in Waverly talking coaching search. You can hop in, 615-737-1045. What's up, Daryl?
Morning, Daryl.
What's going on, y'all?
Not much. Good morning, man.
I'm just going to speak from a fan's perspective here because I've been a fan of the Titans since they've been in Nashville. But let's be honest, the Titans organization, management, ownership have made a lot of bonehead moves over the past 30 years. And from a fan's perspective, if they don't hire John Harbaugh, this is a failure because they've made so many bonehead moves in the past, from firing Vrabel to drafting Vince Young to not drafting Jason Witten to trading A.J. Brown. Just the list goes on and on. Now, John Harbaugh's out there, and it doesn't matter who you hire. If it's not John Harbaugh, from the fan perspective, it's another failure by ownership and management. And that's just a fan's opinion. And I think that's going to be a lot of fans' opinions. And I'll let y'all go and talk about it.
Now,
Thank you, Daryl.
You are 100% right. He's
I get it. I get it, but I don't think that's fair to the other candidates.
No, it's not. And that's going to be – Daryl is right on this one, mostly.
The question then becomes, how are you willing to recruit John Harbaugh if that really is the case? From a fan's perspective, what are you willing to give John Harbaugh? He's never been the type to have full control. Mm-hmm. But if you are hiring John Harbaugh, you're cool with Todd Monken and Zach Orr as your coordinators? You're not going to have any input maybe on coordinators? Like, how much are you willing to give him the keys to a lot of horsepower? Or does he got to earn it with the pre-owned car with 70,000 miles on it before you let him make bigger decisions about Italian sports cars?
Does John know how to do that? That's the question, too, giving him that much power and flex. So to me, it's almost contradictory, though, too. Like, Daryl I agree with Daryl. I do, in a good bit of this conversation. But here's the other thing, though, too, as of late, I got my hands up. Why are my hands up right now?
That's a great question.
Emotionally, I guess it hit me right now. The only question I have is this. I thought it was, now football people are in charge, Mike Borgonzi, that you trusted them. So if that's the case and it's John Harbaugh or bust, are you out on Mike Borgonzi already, too? Like, is this the first step of pulling the curtain down on Borgonzi?
615-737-1045 is our number. We'll get to Chris and Kendall on the other side. Open for your thoughts on Matt Nagy, on John Harbaugh or bust, on the Titans head coaching search, plus one big question and game-defining aspect of Miami Ole Miss. Talk a little bit of college football playoff tonight, coming up next.
It is 7 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Last night, Vanderbilt basketball, they remain unbeaten after they beat Alabama 96-90 in a top 15 matchup. Sophomore guard Tyler Tanner scored a game-high 29 points in the win for the Commodores. They are the only unbeaten team remaining in the SEC. In Titans news, they are scheduled for virtual interviews today with both Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy and defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo coming up later today. The Saints, per Adam Schefter yesterday, are preparing for quarterback Tyler Shuck to be their starting quarterback in 2026. He was 5-4 in 9 starts through his rookie season. Also, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are retaining head coach Todd Bowles, as Bowles said yesterday that he will return as coach next season. And a big trade in the NBA last night as the Atlanta Hawks traded 4-time All-Star guard Trae Young to the Washington Wizards for C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Off and running into hour 2 of Thursday mornings, Ramon and Will. Coach Mack in 20 minutes. Dan Pompei of The Athletic at 8:20. With loaded phone lines right now talking about the Titans head coach search. You can hop in with a couple lines open, 615-737-1045. So Daryl in Waverly said in the last segment, if the Titans don't hire John Harbaugh, it'll be a failure. Ramon and I agree that's not totally fair. But many of you want to react and maybe agree or disagree with that yourselves. Let's go to the phones and hear from the people. Let's do it.
We're loaded with it. Daryl, he spoke from a fan's perspective. I want to hear this Christmas tree of lights that we have lit up on the phone line now, how they feel. I'm with it, Will. Let's do it.
Chris is in Nashville up first. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Ramon and Will. How y'all doing?
We're good. Morning, Chris.
I got the John Harbaugh thing. Yeah, it's an interesting idea, but I got a different alternative. What about like what Kansas City's got going on? Mike Berganzi's pretty familiar, like a duo, like a Mike McCarthy head coach, Rex Ryan defensive coordinator type deal. I think we need to make a splash going to the new stadium. Rex Ryan will bring the culture. Mike McCarthy bring the offense. What about something like that? I'll get off and let y'all talk.
No doubt.
Thanks, Chris. Rex Ryan specifically, I like where your head's at, first of all, on pairing up experience with experience.
Yeah.
Rex Ryan, Ramon, has kind of been out of coaching for so long at this point. I think you'd be more likely to see someone who's in the league today or who has been more recently in the league. Yeah. And Jeremy Fowler did report yesterday that the Titans will be open-minded knowing they can pair a defensive head coach with a strong, established offensive play caller. So I do think Chris is on the right track.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the plan moving forward. Like I said, I think the biggest thing that the team needs is somebody with a voice and a reputation. I hate to say that that's the case, but sometimes you go by name brand stuff because it make you feel good. This time, I feel like the Titans need a name brand somebody on this staff. And here's the thing. That's not to disparage this coaching staff. Like Coach Rocker, Coach Bush that they have now are well-established guys. You know what I'm saying? Like
Tracy Rocker and Frank Bush, yes. D-line coach and linebackers coach.
They're Bones Fossils, well-established guy. So it's been there. I just think you need that representation probably at one of your bigger coordinator spots. I like where you're going, though, Chris.
Kendall's in Nashville up next. Good morning, Kendall.
Morning, Kendall. Where you at this morning?
How y'all doing?
Well, all right.
All right. I was just I agree with Darryl. I don't want to, shoot down his idea, but I think at the same time, a lot of Titans fans are setting themselves up for heartbreak. If Harbaugh don't come here, I don't think it's necessarily a bust. I think that we're setting up our next coach, though, by saying, hey, is Harbaugh a bust? Because if we don't get him, then everybody's not going to like the new coach. He's going to be on a short leash because they're going to be like, we should have got Harbaugh. And I don't think that's going to be fair to whoever the coach is. So I think, you kind of just got to sit back and let it happen. I will say I wish they would take this time while everybody else is attacking Harbaugh to go after Stefanski and some of these other guys and say, look, all those people's attentions are on them. We actually want you here. What can we do to get you here? I think there's a good opportunity to do that. But I'll let you guys talk about it. Thank you for taking my call.
Man,
Thanks,
appreciate you, Kendall.
Appreciate you hopping in.
That was one of the most even calls we've had about this situation.
Yeah, we mentioned it yesterday, Ramon. If this results in Kevin Stefanski having an easier pathway to being the head coach of the Titans,
Yeah.
then great.
And he's my pick. Offensive-minded head coach. Is he going to be the
pick,
play
but
call?
behind Harbaugh.
Behind Harbaugh, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Let's go to Henry up next in Lebanon. What's up, Henry?
Good morning, Ramon. Good morning, Will.
Morning.
Hope you're having a great start to your new year.
You too.
I just wanted to chime in on the John Harbaugh conversation. Ramon, I heard what you said, man. He does have to pick here, and interviews do go both ways, man. It's the team interviewing the coach, and it's the coach interviewing the team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the case for every candidate that's been mentioned. Kevin Stefanski, all the coaches we've been talking about earlier in the week. But I just wanted to have y'all spend a little bit more time discussing John Harbaugh and why he would be a good fit for the Tennessee Titans.
No doubt.
Sure. Thanks, Henry.
We will definitely get to that. I feel like Harbaugh needs a segment the same way we had with Nagy on this one, too.
Sure.
Because Harbaugh, historically, in his career, is a teamer, special teams coach. Not offense, not defense. He's a people facilitator, the way I view him.
Why do you think he's the right fit for this organization right now?
To be quite honest with you, Will, I don't know if he is.
Okay.
I don't.
Why do you think he's the best coach on the market? Let's look at it from that perspective.
Because he's won, because he comes from Baltimore, because he looks like a serious guy.
His bad years are still pretty dang good.
Yeah.
He just had one.
No doubt about it. Like he hasn't been perfect. I do like how he adjusted from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson, trying to find ways to make it happen. But he's also flagrant, apparently, towards his franchise and the players with not wanting to let go of Todd Monken. Here's what I would say about John Harbaugh being let go in Baltimore is this. Lamar Jackson signed off on this directly or indirectly. He lost his franchise quarterback. He lost, according to reports and very close reports to Baltimore, he lost the locker room. Say what you want to about Mike Vrabel. He never lost the locker room.
That's true.
Brian Callahan never lost the locker room. As much fire as around Coach Tomlin, he's never lost the locker room. Aging yourself out, losing touch a little bit, all right, cool. Bad losing seasons, yeah, you get fired for that stuff.
Sure.
But he's never lost the locker room.
Yeah, John Harbaugh has had 2 losing seasons in the last 10 years, including this one. And in his career as a head coach, in 18 seasons, he has finished under 500 3 times. Quarterback injuries have been directly responsible for 2 of those recently. 2015, he was 5-11, but every other year other than that, at least 8 wins other than 1 season. That's why John Harbaugh is such a good candidate. His bad seasons are pretty good seasons for a lot of other coaches. And you know what you are getting in terms of culture building and a head coach who is very secure in who they are. You know who John Harbaugh is. You know who Kevin Stefanski is. You may not like it, but you know who Matt Nagy is.
I do.
The challenge with hiring first-time head coaches is you don't know who those guys are and how they're going to react when the bullets start flying and things start getting tough on them in the head coach's office and in that corner office versus the one down the hall.
So, just real quick on the Harbaugh situation, let's go to the Super Bowl year 2012.
Yeah.
This team and the expectations, the Harbaugh wants to get this team, or the fans want Harbaugh to get them to 2012. The question you have to ask yourself, and I know it comes over time, but respectfully, Ray Rice did kill it. Do you have a Ray Rice, Anquan Bolden, Torrey Smith, Dennis Pitta at quarterback, Bernard Pierce? That's just on the offensive side of things, not even counting the quarterback at the time, veteran guy, and the offensive line that they had was friggin' monstrous. Defensively, Matt Burke, that's his center. The defensively at the time, too, Ed Reed. Do you have that right now?
Rice.
Haloti Ngata. Do you have that right now? Like, I'm looking at the players. Do you have a T. Suggs, Danielle Ellaby?
Hey, do you have a Joe Flacco?
Like, a lot of credit is going to be given. But what I want to say, too, about John Harbaugh and any coach, will hear me out, any coach, these Jimmys and Joes, they matter more. Okay? I just want to throw that out there, too, no matter who the coach is.
That's a great point.
John Harbaugh's getting a lot of credit for facilitating this, but Joe Flacco threw an insane amount of moon balls that got DPIs, or Jacoby Jones was underneath footballs catching.
And you had
RIP
one of
to
the
him.
best and most respected front offices in the history of the National Football League that was there in place as well. We can't take anything away from Ozzie Newsome and what the general manager position was in Baltimore as well, which again is why you can't take a coach's record totally at face value in the National Football League the way you do more in college football.
If
When you're not picking all the players.
And I saw this be the case, so I forget which game it was, but if Ray Rice doesn't hit that 4th and 29 screen run too that particular year, and they don't win the Super Bowl, I know ifs and fifths and candies and nuts and all that type of stuff, but that's a hell of a play by Ray Rice and not by the coach.
Let's get one more call in here before we get to Coach Mack after the break. Mike is in White House up next. What's up, Mike?
Morning, Mike.
Hey, guys. Good morning. I love your show. You always got great content.
Thank you.
I feel like that Borgonzi is just now getting his hands untied. I don't think that anybody can indict Borgonzi if we don't get Harbaugh, just based on the simple fact, as Ramon said earlier, that Harbaugh also has a choice whether or not he wants to come here. And how attractive is this job? I mean, if you look at it from us being from the inside looking out, of course it looks great. We all want the best. But if you're on the outside looking in, you got a guy like Harbaugh. He's older. You know, you got a Giants job that's open just 3 hours away from where he's at already. He's already got what appears to be a really good quarterback. You got Scattaboo. You got Malik Neighbors when he comes back healthy again next year. And I do understand the fact that he got a GM up there that's questionable, but he's made some good picks over the past couple years. And Harbaugh doesn't have a whole lot of years left in him, so how many more years is he going to coach? I don't know. But you can't hold Borgonzi responsible if we don't get Harbaugh because of the mismanagement of the front office over the past several years. I think it's still an indictment, even though they finally got it fixed. You still got that history there that these candidates are going to be looking at when they try to choose a team. Right. And I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Mike. All fair points.
All fair points.
I think any team with an opening has a certain amount of dysfunction that has led to the fact that you got to hire somebody new.
Yeah.
That's not the good news is that's not uniquely a Titans problem. It just matters, what is important to John Harbaugh. Do you feel like you need a stable GM? Do you want a more stable quarterback? Do you like Jackson Dart? Do you like Cam Ward? I don't know the answer to that. And quite honestly, Ramon, I'm not sure John Harbaugh has an answer to that, which may be why he's waiting to interview until next week.
You know who we need to get on?
Who's that?
Morgan Cox.
Yeah. Morgan Cox just played his 250th NFL game.
Let me text him. He texted me happy birthday yesterday. I can text him. He got kids. I know he up. Congrats
to Morgan, by the way, on 250 NFL games. He hit that in Jacksonville over the weekend. That is an incredible achievement. Incredible achievement. He's not done either, by the way. Now, Taylor said that on the Titans radio broadcast on Sunday, that there's some records over in Knoxville, Tennessee, for former Tennessee players that he wants to break. Morgan is one of the best people you will meet in the National Football League.
Absolutely. I got to tell him, you won't hurt my feelings.
Former Raven as well.
If you say no. No, he was on that 12 team that won.
Oh, yeah.
He's been with Harbaugh, except for his time here
Titan
in Tennessee.
And Raven in his career. Yep, for sure.
You won't hurt my feelings by saying no.
Titans Radio's head coach, Coach Dave McGinnis, joins us coming up next.
Did you know that up to 50% of the air you breathe in your home comes from your crawl space? I got to ask you, have you ever looked in your crawl space? I get it. Most of us don't even want to know what's in there, but moisture in your crawl space can create unhealthy issues that make their way into the air you breathe every single day in your home. Ramon Foster, this is where United Structural Systems can help you. USS has been keeping homes dry and stable in Middle Tennessee since 1994, so you know they aren't going anywhere. You can help control moisture and musty smells with mold treatment and crawl space encapsulation that comes with the USS guarantee. Encapsulation helps reduce high humidity in crawl space and also helps deter mold and mildew and protects your crawl space from pests and wood rot. So go ahead and turn your crawl space into a healthy space. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, man, reach out to the company I trust. You can go to USSTN.com, that's USSTN.com, or call them the old school way, 615-488-7855, United Structural Systems.
Thursday morning continues on Ramon and Will, Ramon Foster, Will Bowling. It's been a minute since we've heard this music because we've had so many holidays fall on Thursdays. But Coach Mack is back for his first visit of the new year, talking Titans, talking head coach search, a little bit of NFL playoffs. All of our visits with Titans Radio's head coach, Coach Dave McGinnis, presented by our friends at Two Rivers Ford. Coach Mack, Happy New Year. Good to have you back on. It's been too long.
Yeah, well, I haven't gone anywhere. It's just the holidays when you're not on the radio. I've been around doing plenty. You and I have seen each other a lot. What's up, Ramon?
Hey, Mac, how you doing, man? Happy New Year.
Doing good. Just taking a little breather here and then getting ready to dive back into this thing as far as, the combine and all of this, that kind of stuff, getting back into the flow of it. But you need to take a little time to reconvene after a 17-week season, I promise you.
No doubt about it. Absolutely. Mac, as the Titans begin virtual interviews and talk to a number of candidates and request more for next week, you obviously have done these interviews. You have been a head coach. You know this process well. What are these head coach interviews like from the candidate perspective, Mac, and how big is that binder of stuff that you've got to have ready to answer questions from an organization like the Titans?
Well, you have to be pretty thorough. I mean, during my time, I interviewed for 3 of these things, got 2 of them, but it was very, very intense. Every one of my interviews were 2-day affairs that were very, very thorough. And look, it has to be when you're getting a job of this type of magnitude. And the thing that you have to know going in is that you're never going to have all of the answers. Now, if the longer you've been in it, the closer you will be to be able to have some of the answers that they want. But you really don't know until you get involved with each individual club, what they want, how it's going to be. So you've got to be – the first thing that I learned really quick, Will, is that you got to be honest. You got to be very, very honest. Don't try to portray yourself as somebody that you're not. Then you need to have very thorough understanding of each organization that you're going into. Every organization that I interviewed with was different. I mean, it was, the questions were similar, but it was just a different vibe at each one of them. And you have to understand what are the underlying factors of those places that you're talking to. And then you're not selling yourself. What you are doing is portraying what you want to do, how you would handle, and a lot of things. I mean, as I said, they were 2-day interviews that are they're very thorough and they're very exhausting. But at the same time, when you get into this business, if you're fortunate enough to get to that level that you're asked to interview for one of these things, you just want to be ready for it.
Mac, we've spoken a lot about the coaches and the candidates for the Titans who have head coaching experience and the things that you learn from successful seasons as a head coach, but maybe more importantly, things you learn about seasons that didn't go your way. When we talk about Matt Nagy and Robert Saleh and Mike McCarthy, a number of these coaches, Mac, what did you learn from being a head coach that shaped the rest of your career after you were in Arizona in 2003? For the rest of your career, Mac, how did that experience change you as a head coach, and what did you learn from your experience as a coach in Arizona?
Well, the first thing that you learn is that you don't know everything going in. And even when you're going through it, you don't know everything. You've got to be open. This is a people business. It's a people business, but it's also a production business. And so, the thing that I learned, the first thing that you learn how to be able to delegate. You can't do it all. I mean, it's a huge, huge job. I tell you, it's a little bit overwhelming when you first sit out in that office and you've been hired and the door shuts and it's just you. And then all of a sudden, every aspect of the organization comes to you for answers. So that type of thing is, and the only way that you learn that is by doing it. And you can't explain it to anybody if they've never experienced it. I mean, it's real easy on the outside to say woulda, coulda, shoulda done this, but there's a lot of nuances, that go into it. So I learned to be able to delegate and And more than talk, I learned a lot to listen. Listen before you talk, and plus, it goes back to what I just said. It's a people business. You got to be able to connect. You got to be able to connect with people in the building, and you've got to be able to connect with your players. I mean, that's the one thing that, has stayed with me for all of these years that I've been in this league is I was able to connect enough with people, to have them trust me. And that's very, very important. That's what I learned.
Coach Mack, you've, like you said, you've been through these interview processes before, and I have to ask you, like you said, going into this situation where it's such a public performance type of job, being an NFL head coach or anything of that matter, it's not like a player's where you just got to run out there and perform. If you're good, you stay around. But if you're bad, like coaching has so many different layers to it, Coach Mack, and how ready do you have to be to give every answer in these interviews? Because you think about first-time head coaches, like, do you have to have every answer? This is my D-line coach. This is my O-line coach. This is my special team coordinator. I will call plays. Like, how thorough do you get in these settings, Coach?
You absolutely have to have. Look, when I went in, and as I say, I interviewed for 3 of these things, and I would have a list, and I would list them, not just one person at each position, but several, because you're not going to get everybody you want, Ramon. Okay. You can't. Just because the way the salaries are, who's under contract. So you have to have a list, and you're asked that, and you have to have an answer for that. But that comes with your preparation. Preparation for one of these job interviews is huge. I mean, you have to rely on you, first of all, whoever your representation is, but you also have to get some advice from people that have done it before, which I did. I was very fortunate to have some pretty prominent head coaches in the league, help me as far as here. This is what they're going to ask. But the main thing is, at the end of the day, you've got to be yourself, because if you try to portray yourself as somebody that you're not, they find that out really, really quick. And so you've got to be prepared, but you've also got to be very genuine and honest. I mean, and sometimes, when you're in those types of situations, you've got to fight the urge to try to portray yourself as somebody you're not, because that's what you think they want to hear.
No doubt. And the other side of it, too, I guess, is understand what you're getting yourself into. Coach Mack, does it matter how you present yourself when it comes down to the division that you're playing in? Because we've had this conversation, of course, back and forth with the listeners that that tune into us. Is, do you have to say, if I play in the AFC North, I'm going to play this style of ball, or, hey, I'm going to change the entirety of it, too? Because the reason I bring it up, to the Tennessee Titans mantra is, it's Tennessee tough, and it's been smash mouth. It's been running back after running back. Do you have to fall into that, or do you just have to convince the listeners, the front office, that are interviewing you, that your plan is better than the other candidates that they're putting in front of themselves, too? Meaning, it doesn't have to be, ground and pound here. There are other philosophies that may work here. Do you have to follow the division that you're playing in? Does that come first, or is it the bigger picture, the first round?
Every interview I was in, I was asked to go through the roster of everybody in the division. Who they were, how they were, what the matchups would be, how I see the present roster that I was interviewing for matching up individually, because that's the whole thing. I mean, that's extremely important, because look, the quickest way to the tournament is winning your division and being able to compete in your division. So yes, I mean, I would have a dossier on everybody in the division, the main players, where they were. And then the other thing that I did that I thought was very, very helpful, and again, you're not going to do everything, but you've got to have an idea of how the salary cap works, what the constraints are, all of those types of things. I mean, when you're going into one of these interviews, you've got to be prepared for everything. And the only way you can prepare for this, especially if you haven't been a head coach before, is you've got to find resources that you can dig with. And then you've got to do a lot of prep going into it. I promise you, those 3 interviews that I did, I had a lot of prep that went into it.
Coach Mack brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, this morning on Ramon and Will. Mack, we've been vetting candidates in our own process as well, and talking about Matt Nagy, Chiefs offensive coordinator, this morning. We've kind of dived into what has worked for him and what has worked in the Andy Reid coaching tree under his leadership in Kansas City. When you look at the success Andy Reid has had, Mack, and why that coaching tree is as successful as it is with Nagy, with names like Doug Peterson, what is the hallmark of Andy Reid's way of coaching on the field, the way he handles his staff, that is the reason why he's had so much success? What is kind of Andy Reid's reputation and what his quote-unquote secret sauce is in the NFL?
No, he's got a great reputation, but look, I thoroughly trust Mike Borgonzi in this thing. And I know most of these coaches that they're going to interview. I would have known them somehow within the 40 years that I've been in this business. It's not just one thing, and you've got to remember too. I mean, look, this business is hard. Andy Reid was let go at Philadelphia, right?
Right.
I mean, if there's nothing perfect in this league as far as coaching goes, but again, I think it goes back to Andy Reid has always been very, very true to himself, and that's extremely, extremely important. And I'm sure he's made changes over the years, and he's learned from the pluses and the minuses of the places that he's been. I don't think it's just one common thread, though, but I think that if you find a head coach that can be true to themselves and can portray that to a locker room, because trust is a huge, huge thing in this business, because it can flip on a dime. We all know that. So trust is extremely important, and the first way that you engender trust is you're genuine and honest with people.
Mac, we're getting ready to go over some of the numbers for Cam Ward post-bye week and listen to what Mike Borgonzi said the other day about evaluating Cam's season. For you in that stretch after the bye week, when his quarterback rating's up, he's taking less sacks, the touchdown-to-interception ratio is significantly different, what encouraged you the most about Cam Ward's finish to his rookie season?
Well, I watched him every day in practice. Look, this guy, this is an extremely hard thing that he did. Coming in and being a starter from day one. Look, all the years that I called defenses, I've told you this before. Well, what I tried to do as a defensive signal caller against rookie quarterbacks, if they were the guy, is wreck them. And wreck them mentally and wreck them physically. He never gave in to any of that. He had a lot of ups and downs as a rookie quarterback, as you would expect him to have if you were being realistic. But he never, ever, ever gave in to it. I mean, he was always just straightforward, straight ahead. I watched him every day, and his consistency as far as his approach to it is what allowed him to be able to improve during the weeks. Even though you weren't winning ball games, you could see incremental improvements in what he was doing. But the thing that helps him is he's a worker. I mean, he's a first in, last out guy all the time, and he's extremely, extremely dialed in to what he's doing. So it's not just one thing that he did. It was his whole temperament and the way he approached it week after week after week in a very trying rookie year.
No doubt, Coach Mack. And in that same context, as far as players' growth, man, how satisfying does it have to be as, Tracy Rocker and Denard Wilson on the defensive side of things to see Jeff transition himself into even more of an elite player with the year that he had? Coach Mack should be probably first-team All-Pro this year.
No, look, I've been here with Jeffrey Simmons' entire career. I've watched him rehab an ACL when he first came in, and saw him get on the field way earlier than anybody ever thought he would. Look, Jeffrey Simmons is exactly what you want in this league. I've had a lot of great players that I had the privilege to coach during my coaching years, and especially guys on defense up front. He's right there with all of them, Ramon.
Yeah.
This dude is legitimate, and this year he proved himself even more legitimate, not only as a player on the field, but the things that he has done to be able to help a really struggling young team with an example of what work ethic meant, and week in and week out, grinding. And then, come on, what he's done in this community, the guy is exactly what you would want. You just need a boatload of him.
I think that's every GM's wish right there. Coach Mack is a boatload of Jeffs, man. There's another guy that's coming up right behind him, man. I think moving from left tackle to now left guard, man, seeing Peter Skoronski in that same boat, Coach Mack, is his progress exactly what you need to see out of a guy, man, that's young and up and coming himself too. Because I thought he had a real solid year this year, also.
He's a pro.
Yeah,
he's a pro. He's a very, very intelligent, and these guys that approach it, not only as a career, but as a passion, and they're very, very serious about, regardless of what they're asked to do, they try to find ways to do it the very best they can. Peter Skoronski is a very, very intelligent dude. And then plus, you're right. I mean, what he has done, this guy, he's somebody exactly that you want. You need some more of him, too, to anchor that line.
Coach Mack, I have to ask you, were you shocked by the John Harbaugh dismissal in Baltimore, too? It's just some coaches, I know everybody's fireable. Everybody's essentially one-year deals across all leagues, man, even in college these days. Did it kind of catch you by surprise, too?
Well, look, I've been in I'm going into my 40th season straight in this league. So, first of all, I've just about seen it all. Yeah. Second of all, it did surprise me.
Yeah.
And the third thing it showed me was how this business can flip, as I said, flip on a dime. Now, I don't know the ins and the outs of what was going on there. You don't know unless you're there. Mm-hmm. But I would say it was one of the bigger surprises that I had in this offseason.
I just think it's fascinating because you got your league MVP quarterback. You got a offensive MVP in Derrick Henry, and your defense is always known. I think for me, the biggest lesson I've learned from this Harbaugh dismissal is, one, yes, you're quick to be fired at any point in time, but like championships, Coach Mack, are so hard. That's a team that's got stud players at every level, and they didn't make the playoffs, Mack. Like, this is a rough business, Coach.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Man.
Honestly.
Seriously. That's the one thing. I go back to when Mike Ditka hired me 40 years ago. One of the things he left me with when I was leaving his office, he said, "Kid, I want you to remember this. It's a great business." I said, "I think you're going to have a lot of success, but every day is an interview. Don't ever forget it."
A lot of truth to that. Absolutely. Coach Mack, Titans Radio's head coach, joining us this morning for his weekly visit. Good to have you back on, Mack. Hope you enjoy a good weekend of not having to broadcast a game. A little bit of rest. A very good thing, Mack. Appreciate you as always.
Yeah, I love broadcasting the games, but there's some pretty good games to watch, both the NFL and collegiately this week. So if you need me, I'll be in front of the television.
Right there with you. Thank you, Mack. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Coach.
See you guys.
All right. Coach Mack with us, presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Every day's a job interview.
Well,
including the job interviews that are happening right now.
That's why, like, when I retired and was done, like, I felt like I could breathe again.
Yeah.
Every day is.
I get it.
It ain't hell because you're living your dream. But, man, that's a lot of pressure is a privilege. I got all these cliches, but, dog.
Truth in a lot of them.
It's hard, man.
The Titans have made another interview request. We'll tell you with whom coming up. Plus, one big thing on Miami Ole Miss that I think decides that semifinal tonight that we'll talk about next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Yes, they service all of those categories, and I want to tell you, They're really good at it too, man. I told you guys I was trying to do some handyman stuff around the house with just simply changing the thermostats. I'm using those smart thermostats. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I love them, okay? I just love the control of them, and I ended up switching one out and next thing you know, I mixed the wires up. I called Hiller. They were over promptly, man, and solved my problems as fast as they could. And it was really cool too because they had already done some work on that HVAC system in general, and they did this one for free because they believe in the motto, man. Happy you'll be, the service is free. It was a mistake I made, and they cleared it up for me. And their tech, man, educated me on the thermostats, showed me the issues that I had, and even more so, before he showed up, I got a link to track him in real time, so I was at home when he was there. Didn't have to wait around at all for them to show up, man. They've been in business for over 35 years. They're family owned and operated too. They're just really good. They're very professional, and they're all background and drug screen too, man. For any issue or emergency that you cause inside of your home, you can go to the website that I use, man. You can go to happyhiller.com and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Will Boulding. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. Don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out all higher interest debt and lowering your bills by thousands. Call 615-499-5780 and see how much cash you can get today at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Wrapping up the first half of Thursday morning's Ramon and Will. Lots more still to come with Dan Pompei of The Athletic joining us in a half hour, breaking down his column on Matt Nagy and profile on the Titans coach candidate who reportedly will speak with the team today virtually. Albert Breer of SI.com writes on Twitter just a few minutes ago, Ramon, that the Titans and Falcons have put in requests to interview 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh for their head coaching jobs. The Cardinals already requested Saleh, who can't interview until next week.
How do you think that make people feel?
Robert Saleh?
Yeah.
I don't know. They can let us know. 615-737-1045. I think Saleh's got a pretty good reputation. I don't know. What do you think?
The second time around, I give grace for that. People deserve second opportunities, man. He went back to his old place, and I don't want to, chastise what the Jets are because I don't need Garrett Wilson going at me the way he did at Stephen A. Smith.
Man, you ain't kidding.
Or he told Stephen A. Smith pretty much you don't know anything, and I used to love this network. You guys suck, basically, is what he said now. But the Jets do have their issues eternally too.
They do.
So.
Let's get Darius in here real quick before we talk Miami and Ole Miss. Wanting to chime in on the John Harbaugh conversation. What's up, Darius?
Morning, Darius.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing this morning?
We're great, man. You?
Good. Hey, I'm doing good. Hey, Mo, just wanted to say happy belated birthday, brother.
I appreciate it.
I wanted to say thank you. Not thank you, but I wanted to say once again, man, happy birthday, man. It's a big milestone for you.
And I'll say thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, I just wanted to comment on Daryl's comment. I think what Daryl said about the Titans hiring Harbaugh, I think it's very interesting. Do I think is it fair? I don't think that it's fair that if he doesn't get the job, that it's something that's frowned upon, right? But I think something that he said kind of stuck with me. It made me think about the last hiring cycle that the Titans had. And remember, the other Harbaugh, Jim, was available, and the Titans didn't even put in a request to interview Jim.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, I just want to see, at least do your due diligence and put in a request to interview John. That's all I want to see, just at least put forth the effort. So maybe, we can at least get some intel or see what's going on and, how he's thinking. But that's at least all I want to see. I don't think, I don't think we should poo-poo the guy if he doesn't take the job here in Nashville. But just at least put an interview request just so you can check all of the boxes and cast the wide net. So that's
do
all
you want him? You want John?
If John Harbaugh is immediately at the top of my list, but now seeing this Albert Breer report about Robert Saleh, Saleh would probably be in my top three, but if you were to ask me my top three, I think Harbaugh would definitely be on the top for me just because of his background and his staff building abilities. I think that's really important too for someone of his caliber of a special teamer.
Gotcha.
Very fair. Thank you, Darius. Appreciate the call. All great points.
All great points.
Tonight, Ramon, we've got playoff football. Mm-hmm. We're back, baby.
Yeah, we are.
After Monday night that was sad, was depressing, was lonely, without cowhide and leather and pigskin being tossed.
No.
We're so back tonight. College football playoff Fiesta Bowl, Ole Miss and Miami is at 6:30 p.m. I got one big thing that I think defines this game, Ramon.
What's that?
When Reuben Bain Jr. and Akeem Messidor get pressure, can they get Trinidad Chambliss on the ground? Not if, when they get pressure. Because those two are Batman and Robin. They are whatever dynamic duo you want to put.
Yeah.
They're Ramon and Will. Dang it. Reuben Bain Jr. has 16 pressures.
Jordan and Pippen, either way.
In 2 playoff games. Akeem Messidor has 11 pressures. If you're like me and you're numerically challenged, I'll put those together for you. 27 pressures between Akeem Messidor and Reuben Bain Jr. in 2 playoff games. Trinidad Chambliss is on a Johnny Manziel type run.
Yeah, he is.
Or is it a Jeremy Lin type of run? Is he on a Lin Sanity run that's just going to come to an end? I don't think that it's Jeremy Lin, but I'm making a comparison to say, Ramon, that Trinidad Chambliss' ability to cook in the pocket, is he a neutralizer of the pressure that Miami gets on the quarterback? Or is he also going to succumb to what every team has to deal with and has to overcome when they play Miami? These two athletic freaks that they've got coming off the edge? I think that is the question of this entire football game.
I'm with you there because that was mine initially. Then I'm like, well, took it. You didn't take it, but we have the same thought pattern in that one because I'm looking at Trinidad Chambliss and I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, like Marcel Reed was a thing, but Marcel Reed I don't think is a passer that Trinidad Chambliss is, right? I don't think the offense is almost as dynamic with what Ole Miss has.
Not as much of an off-script playmaker as Trinidad Chambliss is.
Not yet.
I would certainly agree.
You agree with that?
Definitely.
Good. I don't want to disrespect him at all, okay? With that being said, if I remove myself from that one, Will, is this. Because I hadn't disparaged him, but I didn't know if he'd be able to do it again. But which team is going to be able to stop each other's running back? Mark Fletcher Jr., Kewan Lacey, both can go.
I trust the Miami defense to do that more than I trust the Ole Miss defense.
That Ole Miss
to stop
defense
the run
nice, though.
Not as much against the run, though.
Okay.
Not as much against the run.
Yeah.
That is where I think Mark Fletcher Jr.'s emergence, and he's on a Derrick Henry kind of run through the playoffs right now. And he kind of looks like him a little bit with the hair coming out of the helmet.
Up right now,
the
right?
way he runs, nobody's Derrick Henry.
And know he's getting it.
100%. That is where I think Ole Miss has a little bit of a disadvantage in this matchup.
Okay. And to be quiet, this game can go either way.
100%.
Is the way I view it. Who do you trust? And I don't know this answer, which is why I think this matchup is so intriguing. Who do you trust not to make a mistake?
It's a great question because Miami's turnover rate is the highest of any defense in the playoffs still. Highest interception rate, by far the highest sack rate, highest pressure rate. But then their offense has only scored 27 points in the postseason. Ole Miss, meanwhile, 62nd in yards allowed per rush, not including sacks, at 4.8 yards per carry.
Both have played tight games, won tight games. You got Miami going to A&M winning. You got Ole Miss tackling the monster themselves in Georgia and winning when the game was done.
Yeah.
Ran on Georgia, got to Georgia's quarterback when you're not supposed to.
And they gave up rushing yards in that game, too. It didn't matter.
For the bettors of this game.
Yeah.
How? It's either money line. Because
I've got a pick on it later at 9:20 for the Thursday 3.
I mean, we have to at this point.
Yeah,
right?
we don't have many games to choose from.
So. Many games to choose from.
It's either professional. Well, they're both these leagues are professional now. It's either amateur student athlete professional picks or professional picks in playoff.
And then again, legitimately quarterback to quarterback. We're talking about Carson Beck to Trinidad Chambliss. Like I can't say Carson Beck hadn't arrived, but I also can't say that Trinidad Chambliss is either. But he's coming from Ferris State doing this.
That is the other question.
This is the biggest stage.
What version of Carson Beck do we get? Because Carson Beck's floor is low enough to ruin this game for Miami. Where you throw out all the other analysis and just say, oh, well, Carson Beck threw 3 picks. And that could just be that.
What's crazy, I said that last week, and he actually had a daggone good game.
He's been solid. He's done enough. But against this Ole Miss defense, the way it's playing right now, what is enough? Might be asked to do a little bit more. We'll see. It could be a good game.
The pay is justified now, Carson Beck. The $4.5 million.
I mean, I think if you're in the Final Four, the way you've constructed your roster and made decisions has worked.
Yeah. Even if he's in a sidecar.
Yeah. I think it's fair.
I agree.
615-737-1045, our number. Mike Borgonzi evaluated Cam Ward's rookie season the other day. You'll hear what he had to say about Cam and what worked, what didn't work, and how he assesses QB1's year one coming up next.
801, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. In Titans news, today they're scheduled for virtual interviews with both Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy and defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo today. The Titans also, as of this morning, per Albert Breer on Twitter, they're requesting an interview for 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. So is the Atlanta Falcons. Meanwhile, per reports yesterday, former Ravens head coach John Harbaugh will not schedule interviews with teams until at least next week. The Saints, per ESPN's Adam Schefter yesterday, are preparing for quarterback Tyler Shuck as their starting quarterback in 2026. He went in 9 starts in his rookie season. He went 5-4. Also, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are retaining head coach Todd Bowles for 2026, as Bowles announced that yesterday. And tonight, the college football playoff semifinals start with an ACC versus SEC tilt between Carson Beck and Miami versus Trinidad Chambliss and Ole Miss in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl. Miami opens as the 3.5-point favorite for tonight with kickoff at 6:30 Central on ESPN. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the third hour this morning, Thursday morning. First time we've worked on a Thursday in a minute. Maybe you're in the same boat today. 5-day work weeks are the norm in the United States of America, and it's been a minute since we've had one, Ramon.
Yeah, it has been. I'm glad to actually have it. We got a lot of good football topics to talk about, not necessarily live sports, but we do.
One of those weeks where 20 hours in 1 week still doesn't feel like enough.
I can't wait. Speaking of football topics, I can't wait till Dan Pompei comes on. I clicked on our YouTube chat real quick, and somebody spelled Nagy with 2 G's and then put a trash can emoji.
Oh, okay. All right. I saw one comment that said, so today's show is all about talking about the worst candidate?
That was a comment,
Yes,
too?
it was.
Lord. Well, he's coming to town today. It's appropriate that we at least press virtual. Okay.
Can't be in person until the 19th.
Okay. So none
With
of these
current
candidates
head
can.
coaches, not necessarily.
Oh.
If you don't have a job right now, you can meet in person.
So that's why. I saw somebody asking that question, too, on Twitter. Like, why is he not coming in town?
He can't yet.
He can't yet. Yeah, okay. All right. See, look at us. This is why we discuss him, is because you get answers like this. Even I get answers.
This is correct.
I never paid attention to this stuff as a player.
Well, you never had a head coach search on the team that you played for 11 seasons. And that head coach is still there. His name is Mike Tomlin.
Still there. Very true.
For now.
I think he stays.
I think so, too. But after John Harbaugh got fired by the Baltimore Ravens, crazier things have literally happened this week.
That's true.
So we'll see.
This is true. Can you imagine the coaching search? Well, the conversation around the coaching search then?
Yeah, it's something.
Steph and Stink. Oh, y'all, come on, man. Y'all got to be better than this. All right. This is a rough crowd.
Effing and Bake Chat open if you want to join those that don't like some of the candidates. If you want to change the perspective, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Mike Borgonzi, the other day for his end-of-season press conference, was asked, how do you evaluate Cam Ward's rookie season? And the general manager of the Titans said this.
Yeah, what I think of his first season, I think he went through a ton of adversity. And I think, he battled through it and he got better. The coach we're looking for on that side of the ball, whether it would be the head coach, if an offensive coach, or just the offensive coordinator, is to help him develop more and really to find a coach that can really accentuate some of the strengths of the players. You're always looking for that, Jim. Really good coaches know their personnel, know their players, and what do they do well, and how do you put them in the best position to win. We're looking for someone that can, really look at Cam, and this is what he does well, and this is what our receivers do well. This is what our running backs do well. That's what we're looking for.
Mike Borgonzi gave away one of the questions in the interview process.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, Matt Nagy. Hey, Robert Saleh. Jason Garrett. Whoever else. Yeah. What does Cam Ward do well?
Yep.
What does he not do well? How are you going to fix it?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting part of that answer there from Borgonzi. What will you take away from Cam Ward's rookie season.
What I take away? I saw the talent. I saw the arm talent. I think he's still raw. And I don't want to say super underdeveloped, but he's very underdeveloped in his approach to playing quarterback, I think, from time to time. The special stuff that he did was just his raw talent, in my personal opinion. The ability to have an offense, too, that's going to complement, as Mike Bergonzi just said, his attributes, what he does well as a player. It wouldn't shock me moving forward, depending upon personnel, if you saw more of Cam Ward throws to the sideline, like that style of ball. To be quite honest with you, if y'all go look, like really, really break down Patrick Mahomes' play, like go really look at that offense. It's so close to the line of scrimmage. It's 5 yards dump offs. It's wide receiver screens. And then it's the occasional chunk down the field or throw down. It's not, a route tree of running a 7, a post, and then comebacks. It's not a lot of that at all. It is getting the ball in the athlete's hand, which is why I said, depending upon the structure and rebuilding of this roster, I think the attempt to actually get Cam throwing the football and getting out of his hands to his wide receivers was there. But here's the thing. Elikayimana can't block. Chimere DK can't block on the edge like that, or they hadn't been instilled in them to block as well as they need to get those wide receiver screens going. It's that to me, I think, is what Bergonzi is saying. Finding guys to be able to highlight their talents. That's one thing I'll forever, like, golly, Munch, if you listening to me. His ability to identify my talents versus David DeCastro's right guard talents versus Marquise Pouncey's talents at center, that triangle of us right there was probably one of the biggest attributes of, I think, our team's entire success. Moan, you're not the best puller. You can pull, but DeCastro's a better puller than you. DeCastro, you're not good at securing the front side of the run lanes for Moan if he is pulling. So guess what? I'm going to make sure you guys specialize and become experts in those things. It was by far one of the best things ever that he did for us.
Yeah.
And you got to know, as Bergonzi said, as a coach, who does those things well.
It's a great point. And, I think, too, you are right. Patrick Mahomes gets highlight reels of 40, 50-yard throws off of his back foot, off schedule after running around, and he kind of scurries around in the pocket and then just lets it fly. But he had to learn how to play in system and in timing and in rhythm to get the ball out on time within 5 to 10 yards of the line of scrimmage as well.
You know what he did more than anything, Patrick Mahomes? He made himself a threat. You were so scared of him throwing the football and finding somebody in a broken play. You finding Kelsey. Like, I know you watched the games, and I did too. Yeah, why is Kelsey wide open? Well, it's because Patrick became such a threat too.
There's two safeties back so much that you've got to commit more numbers to the back end of the coverage to take away the deep shots.
Bro.
Because Patrick doesn't need to step into the throw to uncork a 40, 50-yard throw accurately down the field.
And all he was doing, to be quite honest with you, just moving the chains.
It's just a classic cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
What have you put on film that forces the defense to adjust, and then what corresponding adjustments are you willing to make?
So that's good teams right there, though, Will, is who – you remember I brought that up to you. Who are the threats? Who scares you? Like, as a rookie, Chimere don't scare you. Alec didn't scare
Does
you.
in the return game, but maybe not as much on offense.
Very much. So what did teams start doing to him? Kicking it through the end zone?
The back of the end zone.
There it is.
So what's your counterpunch? So
that's the other part of these teams and successful players, too. Who scares you? And that's the part to where I thought we'd have – better play by the offensive line to where Tony would scare you. Now you get the ability to have Calvin Ridley be a threat. Like, you never got that because you didn't have a run game to where Calvin could actually open up the passing game.
Well, and to look at the Titans defense, and when you ask that question about this Titans team and who scares you, obviously the first answer is Jeffrey Simmons.
Now, so who ate off of it? So now we can start building. Let's keep going, Will. Who ate off of his plate this year? Jalen Harrell. Right? He ate.
4 consecutive games with half a sack.
To be quite honest, Cedric Gray ate. Like, there's a lot of dudes that ate off of Jeffrey's plate because the threat was there.
Tavondre Sweat is such a load to manage in the middle of the offense that Jeffrey Simmons also benefited from that, because Tavondre Sweat, just with the way he is built, as Rand Carthon said, who drafted him, God didn't make a lot of humans like him. Jeffrey Simmons benefited from that threat. Who is that threat that you can go put on offense to help Cam Ward?
Yeah.
And then what are the elements of this offense that can be unlocked once defenses have something they're afraid of when the Tennessee Titans are on offense. It's why Breece Hall, to me, Ramon, is at the top of the free agent wish list.
Bro.
It's why getting the top free agent running back you can possibly get, and I'm going to keep banging this drum until free agency, is the best thing that this organization can do for Cam Ward right now. Because teams that are rebuilding or teams that have rookie quarterback contracts, fortunately the Titans are both in this context, they are the ones that have the ability and most likelihood, typically, to pay running backs. Not always in the best interest to pay running backs. When you're in the position the Titans are right now, I think you are in a great spot to pay the running back a free agent.
So if we can go to real quick, yes, to that point about like threat players, if we could go to the golden phase of like the new Tennessee Titans when they got here to Tennessee, and that's Van Den Bosch, that's Hainsworth, and those guys. Like the reason you remember that so much though too, and I'm gonna bring this up again, which is why I think it's more on the front office and Mike Borgonzi and picking players, because you had the talent. The threat of that defensive line was the biggest thing, the biggest attribute that any team could have ever had. Like, look at the group of guys that were surrounding Van Den Bosch and Hainsworth. Like, everybody ate.
Well, yeah, the only reason why Smash Mouth AFC Central football was fun for us is because it yielded wins.
Right.
And that's why we want it back. I mean, if we'd had 4,000-yard passers and been throwing it all over the yard, then we'd want to get back to quote-unquote finesse football right now.
But you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not allowed, because who's allowing your offense specifically to be a threat to say we can finesse ourselves into a win? It's not there yet. Which is why, again, I go back to it. That's why it's such a disappointment that this O-line didn't grow up sooner this year, because that part you wouldn't question going into next year's season.
I will remember Cam Ward's progress when I think about his rookie season. And how much better I think he looked the last time he took the field in Jacksonville versus the first time in Denver.
Yeah.
But I'll really remember how much better he looked when he had a run game. That is the key to the 2026 offseason. Quarterback proofing the roster for Cam Ward. Part of that will be by hiring a head coach. Maybe that coach is Matt Nagy. Dan Pompei of The Athletic sat down with Matt Nagy for a great piece of The Athletic. Dan will join us coming up next. Ramona Will at 104.5 The Zone. Hour 3 continuing on this Thursday morning, the day that Chiefs OC Matt Nagy is scheduled to talk with the Tennessee Titans. Alongside 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined this morning by Dan Pompei of The Athletic, who had a great piece about Matt Nagy that we just posted on our Twitter at Ramon and Will. Dan, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Will, I appreciate you having me this morning. Good to be with you guys. Thanks.
Absolutely.
We appreciate the time, and first and foremost, great job on this article and on this piece, and it is a great profile for those who haven't read it on Matt Nagy and really the human element, Dan, to learning from what went wrong, right? The first time being a head coach in Chicago. What was your biggest takeaway in sitting down with him and learning about a man that has a really interesting and kind of complicated reputation, Dan, but clearly is well respected in the coaching community?
Yeah, I think it's easy to look at a coach's record and say, okay, this is what he is. But, there's so many different factors that go into that. And I really appreciated kind of getting to know some of those factors that happened to Nagy when he was in Chicago, and how he's kind of tried to prepare himself for the next opportunity and learn from some of the things that he did that he didn't think worked well and that he would like to do better in the future. He's made a real point of trying to kind of be honest with himself about his mistakes and moving forward to try to do things a little bit differently. And, that's important. It's important for all of us in all our lives and everything we do, right? That we find ways to evolve and grow and admit our shortcomings. And, that's a good place to start. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why he's being interviewed by 4 teams now in this current coaching cycle.
Dan Pompei of The Athletic, our guest. What do you think resonated the most with you, Dan, about how Matt Nagy feels like he learned from that Chicago experience? If maybe there's 1 or 2 things that were his biggest takeaways and lessons learned, where do you think Matt Nagy would begin to say, this is where I messed up and this is where I would start to do things differently?
Well, I think the primary thing probably is this. If he got another job, if he got the Titans job, for instance, he would lean more into his abilities as a leader, as opposed to trying to be an offensive guru or a play caller. When he came to Chicago, he had only been a coordinator for 1 year. It was under Andy Reid, who, of course, kind of runs the offense himself in Kansas City, and did not have a big circle of coaching associates. So he struggled a little bit to hire a staff, admittedly. He told me this. And, thought that he had to run the offense himself and tried to do that. Didn't always work well, found himself pulled in too many directions, and thought that he ended up giving away play calling duties twice, taking them back. It was kind of a mess over his career. And he says in the future, he would just not be a play caller. He doesn't want to be a play caller. He wants to be a head coach. And I think that's an interesting distinction.
We're joined by Dan Pompei of The Athletic this morning, talking Matt Nagy as he scheduled an interview today with the Titans. Dan, when you look at the pathway in which it got bad in Chicago, the Tennessee Titans right now aren't in a perfect scenario. And it seems to me Matt Nagy found himself scrambling to appease players and just got outside of himself. How has that changed more so now in this second time around where he's been interviewed as a head coach?
Well, yeah, that's a good point, Ramon. And I think, really, you never know everything you want to know about a head coach until he faces adversity. And, Matt Nagy's first year in Chicago, everything went just as he had hoped in his wildest dreams. They won the division, and he ended up being coach of the year. It seemed like everything was perfect. Things started to go a little wrong the next year. He obviously the first year ended very disappointingly with the missed kick in the playoffs. And then, the following year he loses Vic Fangio, who was just central to all of their success as their defensive coordinator. And, they struggled to really recreate that. And then I think at that point, some of the insufficiencies of Mitchell Trubisky started to show up too, because more was put on his plate. He was put in a position where he was more responsible for victories, and he really couldn't be that kind of quarterback, which has been obvious in what we've seen from him in the years since. So, I think the important thing for Nagy to understand is that he's got to continue to just kind of stay true to his principles. When things go wrong, don't try to appease people, and be the kind of person who sways a lot from what you originally thought was best.
Then when you look at, the conversation article that you wrote, it was reported, of course, Nagy's a serious contender here for this job. Why is that the case? Is it because Cam Moore, moves similar or plays similar to Patrick, to Mitchell Trubisky, to the other quarterbacks that he's had under his tenure? Why is that the case that he's been beelined, in your opinion, to the Tennessee Titans?
Well, I think, publicly anyway, a big part of the perception is that he's got a strong relationship with the general manager there. And, they worked together starting in 2013 before Nagy became a head coach, and then again after he was a head coach and returned to Kansas City. And, they were close and still are close. And I think Nagy told me that the two of them even bounced ideas off each other in terms of prepping for their next jobs, how would you do this? How would I do that? What's important to a coach? What's important to a general manager? All those things. And, it's the relationship between the head coach and the general manager obviously is critical. I think you need to have a strong bond and a belief in one another and a trust in one another. I think the Titans have probably experienced that in recent years. When you don't have it, it's a big problem because eventually it's all going to go awry. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why people kind of connect the dots with Nagy and the Titans.
Dan Pompei of The Athletic is our guest. Great feature from him about Matt Nagy, Titans coaching candidate, that you can read at The Athletic. Dan, you wrote about this a little bit as well in Matt's relationship with Andy Reid. Where do you think Matt Nagy has benefited and helped Andy Reid the most now this second time around as his offensive coordinator?
Well, I think, mostly he's a sounding board. Andy, I know, told me that he trusts Matt to tell him the truth and to be honest with him. And that's something that you don't always get from assistant coaches, especially when you're a coach who is as accomplished as Andy Reid is, because, it's hard to tell someone with that much success, hey, I think you're wrong, or you're doing something in a way that's not going to lead to a victory or whatever it may be. So Nagy, I think, has such a tight relationship with Reid, and then he's got the experience of being a head coach himself, making his own mistakes, that he's able to tell him, look, I don't agree with this, or I think this is going to be a problem. And that has kind of been invaluable to Reid. He obviously also has had a say in the offense and in the continued evolution of Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, that's not going to be a reason the Titans hire him based on what happened this year. But I think they have to look at him more as a CEO, head coach, as opposed to just an offensive expert who's going to make them score points.
Dan, it's interesting to me how much more of a candidate Nagy is this cycle than a season ago. When you mentioned the other teams that are interested in him, why do you think he is so much more of a prominent candidate this time around versus maybe this time last year?
Yeah, it's fascinating. Last year he had one head coaching interview with the Jets, and he's already scheduled for 4 this year, including some prime jobs. I don't know that there's a good answer to that question, other than I would say time tends to help in the rehabilitation of former head coaches' images. I think there's a period right after they get fired when everyone says, "Oh, that guy's an idiot. He can't do anything right. We don't want him." That is the perception that's out in the public. After a year or two, some of that fades. Some of those memories kind of go away, and then you start to think, well, look, he did some good things, or he's got a lot of potential, or he looks like he could have learned from his mistakes. And I think, that we're probably at that stage now with Matt Nagy where people are saying, well, how many better candidates out there are there than him?
Dan Pompei of The Athletic with us this morning. Dan, when it comes down to, you referenced it in your article, how critical and almost personal he got with, the critiques of players. Was that, his early just negatives or lack of success that kind of led to those type of, feelings toward, Mitch Trubisky and other players that were inside of that Chicago Bears locker room? Is that something that's changed with him? Because, again, players have bad days and coaches do too. Why was that the case for him, I guess, and how he felt about those guys at the time?
Again, it was him struggling with the adversity and the failures, really. And, he admittedly is a very passionate, emotional person. He's very passionate in victory. He's very passionate in defeat. And sometimes that got the worst of him. And he did have, a number of incidences that he kind of regretted, where he became too negative or too critical of players, and he thinks it hurt the team. But I think that's one of the things that he says, if I had to do it all over again, I would try to be more like Andy Reid and be more kind of flat line with my emotions and try to be more logical and less emotional. Try to keep the good, get rid of the bad.
No doubt. This is fascinating here because we cover this team on a day-to-day basis, and the public perception is always going to be Matt Nagy, not the 2018 Chicago Bears, but everything that happened after it, right? And you even look at the Kansas City's offensive scoring rankings, and a lot of people just aren't sold on just him as a coach from the fans' perspective. And I think that's usually different from, the professional job that people are allowed to do at times. My question is with everything that's happened to him, does that prepare him to publicly deal with the criticism that'll come if he is hired here too? The expectation of this fan base as far as winning, handling of Cam Ward also, is he built for this type of job? Because I think the other part of it too, Dan, is there's still a rebuild to happen here, and how can he handle and foster that through his staff, through his players, and just the need for a face to represent them on the winning side?
Yeah, I think the real answer to that, Ramon, is, we can't know until he has that type of opportunity and he goes out and he tries, But I think he would attempt, I know he would attempt to do it a little bit differently than he did in his last opportunity. And he would, again, try to do it the way Andy Reid did it, both in Philadelphia and in Kansas City, and try to be that face of the organization without being something different behind closed doors. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, does publicly, well, in your conversation with him, because I know his kids took a lot of heat. I think most public, people, personalities, their kids, right or wrong, receive a lot of stuff, and families us too. Is he hardened by that too? Does it matter? Because his kids took a lot of hate in those soccer matches that you bring up, and I know that's almost normal with social media these days.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and it's an ugly side to really all sports, but I think in our country at least it's really prominent in the NFL. But, I think one of the good things about, Nagy in Chicago when he faced some of those storms is he kind of controlled himself publicly pretty much, because it's easy, to lose it and to not be controlled, not under control, and to go off on some of these people, or it could have been a tick-tock moment for him, right? That would have prevented him from ever becoming the candidate that he is today. So that part of it was good. I think he might try to be a little bit more controlled in the future in terms of some of his press conferences and, of course, some of his dealings with players. But I think being out in public, that part of it he handled pretty well. In a situation that would test anybody. I know it certainly would test me if I were in that situation. And I think you have to have an appreciation for the fact that he was able to kind of maintain his composure.
Dan, on the way out, I wanted to ask you about another piece you wrote about another Andy Reid coaching tree coach, and Sean McDermott in Buffalo. And in an age today in the NFL, as you know, Dan, where John Harbaugh got fired, Mike Tomlin's under pressure, we've got Matt LaFleur, Dan Campbell. Sean McDermott is one of these coaches that's been knocking on the door, but because of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, haven't been able to get over the hump, especially in the AFC that Mahomes and the Chiefs have obviously dominated. What did you learn about Sean McDermott, how he has handled the pressure, and how this Buffalo team, going to Jacksonville, a team we know well here in Nashville, of course, is handling this big challenge of having to go on the road, and the way McDermott is managing all of that pressure?
Yeah, he's 9 years into his job now as head coach of the Bills, Will, and there's only one coach in history that outpaced him in terms of wins through 9 years, and that's George Seifert.
Wow.
So, he's been a hell of a coach for the Bills. And when he took over that team, don't forget, they had not been to a postseason appearance in 17 years. They went the first year with him and have made it 8 out of 9 years that he's been there. So he's really done a remarkable job, except in the playoffs. They've gotten bounced out of the playoffs. And as you guys know, the way that teams and coaches are judged anymore is how many Super Bowls have you won. Mm-hmm. And when they don't, I think the public tends to get a little antsy. Obviously, we saw that, as you mentioned, with John Harbaugh this year. And there's been talk about Mike Tomlin. These guys who've obviously been generational coaches who are probably on their way to the Hall of Fame. But, if you don't win a Super Bowl for a few years, things start to get antsy. But I think with Sean, the interesting thing is that he has continued to try to evolve and to change and be more of a player's coach, be more of a multifaceted coach, have relationships that last beyond football. And he wants to leave an imprint on the team and the community that kind of goes beyond whatever his final record says. And it'll be an interesting game. They have had better teams in the past,
right,
I think, than they've got this year. But they've got a great eraser, an equalizer in that quarterback, Josh Allen.
Dan Pompei has been our guest this morning on Ramon and Will at Dan Pompei, where you follow him on Twitter, reading his work at The Athletic. Dan, really great job on this story again. We really appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Okay, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Dan. Absolutely.
Yes, Dan Pompei with us this morning at Ramon and Will, where you can read that article. We just tweeted it out a few minutes ago. He was good.
He was.
Good insight.
It was. And, what he gave about him was essentially what we have said here too. I mean, in discussing his article, like a lot of these questions that Matt Nagy's going to have, it's got to be done and got to be answered in real time.
100%.
I like the background of what he's gone through and how it's shaped and changed him though too. Like, I'm a firm believer in that. Like, fans are fanatics, so I was going to use a biblical sense, but there is no walking Jesus on this thing that are forgiving people. Okay, like the
You're
idea.
not going to ask anyone if they can walk on the Cumberland when they come to town.
No, the idea of forgiveness in football.
We got some water back here. We'd like a nice Pinot Grigio. You turn it into wine for us?
Well, my point is, forgiveness is not a part of football at all.
No, that's true.
It's not.
All right, we had a lot of news break as Dan was on with us. The Titans are continuing their search and have requested interviews with 3 more candidates. 2 of them we've not yet mentioned. One of them is Robert Saleh. We'll tell you who the other 2 names are. Plus, big breaking news out of Knoxville about a certain quarterback who is on campus, who may or may not be the number 1 player in the transfer portal. We'll tell you what all of those stories are. Breaking news coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Jewel Roofing and Exteriors, man. Here's the thing. Builders trust them, and homeowners like myself rely on them, and I'm here to tell you that you can too. Jewel Roofing and Exteriors have been a family-owned and locally trusted business for 25-plus years, man. They're proudly based here in Middle Tennessee, serving communities everywhere from Clarksville to Murfreesboro, man. Robbie Van Norman, what up, my guy, man? He's the owner. He lives right in Hendersonville, across town from me, man, and they're in our community. You will see them at the games. And here's the thing about them too. The fact that you can see them, they want you to be able to trust them. And if you have a problem with them, I won't say go up to them in public, but here's the thing. They know that this community relies on trust, and they want a company that can do right by people, the local, the license, and the experience, and not just some out-of-town crew at all. They don't do the door knocking or chase storms when a bad storm come in, and they just try to get you to file your insurance so that they can get paid. Absolutely not, man. They want to build relationships, and that's what they've done with me, man. Listen to them. If you want to learn more about them, you can call them at 615-868-9999 or visit their website at jewelroofing.com. It's Jewel Roofing with 2 L's.com.
Wrapping up hour 3 on Ramon and Will with a lot of news that broke in the last half hour. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Thursday 3 coming up in another half hour. Plus, we'll react more to what Dan Pompei of The Athletic just told us about Matt Nagy. Great conversation there. And as always, wherever you download podcasts, you get every conversation here on the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Ian Rappaport at Rap Sheet, NFL Media on Twitter, says the Titans continue their search and sources say they have requested slips for 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, whom we already mentioned, Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, and Steelers OC and former Titans OC Arthur Smith.
Good. Really?
3 more.
Look at Arthur. Brother Arthur.
Arthur.
It's a good list. Hafley, you said Jeff Hafley?
Yep.
His name was trending. I hadn't heard it bubble as much in the actual coaching cycle right now, but his name is definitely on the hot table, most definitely.
If you're unfamiliar, Jeff Hafley is the former head coach at Boston College who left Boston College on his own decision to be the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, where he's been for the last 2 seasons. Seen as a tier 1 coordinator candidate of the coaching options who have not been NFL head coaches before. And obviously, you all know who Arthur Smith is. Former Titans OC, Tennessee native, lived in Memphis, was here with the organization across multiple head coaching tenures, was here for a long time, and is now with Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, and Pittsburgh. What have you liked about the Pittsburgh offense under Arthur Smith's leadership this year?
It's created an identity for itself again. I feel like sometimes too much, to be quite honest with you. It's real close to the ground. I mean, it's run, heavy run. He will take his shots. I ain't got a problem with it. With what I'm going to say next, because it has worked. But the over-involvement of tight ends is fascinating. It's worked. It worked here.
Over-involvement meaning you think they're too involved?
I think it's a crutch. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Lot 12 personnel.
Where are the wide receivers is my question. I know DK Metcalf is there, but
sure.
They had to go get Adam Thielen, to kind of help sustain it. But when you got a unique player like Darnell Washington, he has, I will say, taken to another level in how you go about playing with him and stuff like that. And Pat Frymuth has been pretty good. Connor Hayward, he's got a good group. Jonnu Smith, he asked for Jonnu Smith. Bro, you already had Pat Frymuth and Darnell Washington also.
Sure.
I'd love to see, an incorporation of wide receivers, but it's been consistent is what I would tell them.
Meanwhile, in Knoxville, the number 1 player in the transfer portal is sticking around a little bit longer. Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt is on campus, got there yesterday and was scheduled to leave today. Austin Price of AllQuest reports that he will extend his stay through tomorrow. So Sam Leavitt, who in his redshirt sophomore season had his year cut short to 7 games due to a foot injury, but threw for 4,500 yards and 34 touchdowns as starting quarterback of the Sun Devils for 2 seasons. He is sticking around. Number 1 player in the portal, not going to be cheap. What does that mean to you, Ramon, that he's sticking around another day?
That he likes or want to learn more. He liked what he saw and want to learn more. This, I saw in our chat, somebody said he stayed at Kentucky for 3 days.
Kentucky's got Kenny Minshew now. They're out.
But here's the thing, though, too. This is later in the process. Decision-making is time now is the pushback I will give to that statement, which is fair, that's the case for him, too. And Kentucky's got a lot they got to try to sell, too. But I think this late in the process where the dominoes will start to fall, when you have a stay over like this, it usually leads to a commitment at some point. Again, can he play? Absolutely. Redshirt sophomore, that's time to grow this year and potentially next year too. We'll see. I'm not mad at it.
A commenter on YouTube says, him staying over is the breaking news? LOL. Yeah, Tennessee's getting closer to landing the number 1 player in the transfer portal. That is breaking news.
That is breaking news.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely.
For a team that needs a veteran quarterback, too. It's that part of it. This to me is not one-to-one comparison, but it's, Peyton Manning visiting the Titans. He's staying again? These types of things do matter. You don't want him to leave is why it matters.
Tennessee picked up a commitment yesterday from Auburn corner Kayan Lee. Multi-year starter for the Tigers, started 4 games in 23, 10 and 24, 11 games this season for Auburn. Over the last 2 seasons, Kayan Lee has 63 tackles, 11 PBUs, 3 interceptions. Originally committed to Ohio State out of high school, then decided to sign with Auburn. Tennessee gets his services over Ohio State and Ole Miss. High-profile defensive back choosing the balls yesterday.
Great profile.
Needed.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're going to get an answer on Xavier Gillum today, the Penn State defensive tackle, one of the top D tackles in the portal. Seems like Tennessee's in a good position there. How about Boo Carter visiting Vanderbilt yesterday?
I have some thoughts on that need to stay off air. They do. I don't know his classroom etiquette, so I would refuse to go any further. Good for Boo.
Boo, if you're listening, welcome to town. He's not listening. I tweeted it out yesterday. I think both fan bases would be happy about Boo Carter going to Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt fans would be happy to stick it to Tennessee and say, yeah, we're taking a high-profile defensive back that's good. And I think Tennessee fans with the headaches that Boo Carter caused in Knoxville this year, I think they'd be happy seeing him play for a rival and lining up against them. You know what? That's a win-win if that does work out. To be honest, I think it's a weird fit for Clark Lee and that Vanderbilt culture. I don't know if Boo Carter has the kind of personality that's going to mesh with Clark Lee's personality.
Maybe that's what he needs. The question is, can he handle a do it my way or go back home type of coach, though, too? You know?
Yeah.
Like, can his – no, let me rephrase that. I think he wants to. Can his folks handle that from all intents and purposes? Respectfully, I ask that question. I talked to somebody recently about Boo. It's like they've had Boo on the straight and narrow. Then he leaves and go around his, I guess his circle, and it changes the very next day. Like, all players want structure and direction and like they want that instruction. They do, especially into this crucial development stage for him. Does his camp want that?
2 Vandy fans in our YouTube chat, Vandy Chris and Vandy Man, whom we respect. Vandy Chris says, we ain't want Boo on West End. Vandy Man says, I don't want him. Boo to Boo. There you go.
Which means you're getting it.
Fourth and final hour. When we come back, 615-737-1045 is our number. If you slept in this morning, we'll give you Jeremy Fowler's intel about the Titans head coach search, the names that have been linked this morning, and the very latest on the Titans process in replacing Brian Callahan. That continues coming up next. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling for my friends at Lee Company. Winter plumbing issues come in all forms. You got drips, you've got clogs. Maybe there's no hot water when you need it the most. Maybe I'm reminding you right now of issues that you've had on that to-do list. It's been up there on the fridge, but they're not done list. Still got to handle all of that when you get home from work today. No matter the plumbing issue in your home, Lee Company's available 24/7 to get the job done right. Lee Company's award-winning team has you covered from the kitchen sink to the water heater and everything in between. That's what I love about working with Lee Company is that when there's anything not working the way that it's supposed to around the house, you just get Lee Company out there. They're quick. It's efficient. They're open 24/7. Yeah, that means something when you've got issues popping up around the house. Contact Lee Company and schedule online at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com for professional plumbing service. Lee Company, all you need.
9:02, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. In Titans news, they're scheduled for virtual interviews today with both Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy and defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo. The Titans, as of this morning, per multiple reports, are requesting interview with 3 more head coaching candidates, and 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, and Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. Smith was with the Titans from 2011 to 2020 in various roles, including offensive coordinator in 2019 and 2020. In Tennessee Vols news, per Austin Price of VolQuest and On 3 this morning, former Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt has extended his trip in Knoxville and will now leave tomorrow instead of this afternoon, a potential good sign for a potential Vol signing. And tonight, the college football playoff semifinals begin with an ACC versus SEC tilt between Carson Beck and Miami versus Trinidad Chambliss and Ole Miss in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl. Miami is the 3.5-point favorite tonight with kickoff at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on ESPN. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show as hour 4 hits us already. On this Thursday morning, Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV, The Zone Podcast Network after the show. What would you look at that? The Thursday 3 standings look a little bit different.
Nah, You don't get to brag now.
Is it just me or have these tables turned? How does that medicine taste? Your own flavored?
I'm only down 1.
I'm always thinking one step ahead, like a carpenter who makes stairs.
I can't hear you from all the way back here. I'm trailing.
That was good.
That was real good, Hawk.
Thursday 3 returns to Thursday coming up. We've got playoff picks for you. I've got a pick on Ole Miss Miami. This is when the men separate themselves from the boys, gentlemen.
Facts.
When you only have a couple games and you might not love the board, but the board's got to be picked 3 times between totals and point spreads on DraftKings Sportsbook for the upcoming football games. We will do that coming up in 15 minutes.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to change a pick real quick.
Jeremy Fowler of ESPN.com writes yesterday, intel about all 32 teams and their coaching staffs, and of course, there is intel on the Titans search. Jeremy Fowler says, while the Titans could focus on offense-minded head coach candidates due to the need to develop Cam Ward, Tennessee is legitimately intrigued by a handful of defensive-oriented candidates as well. San Francisco's Robert Saleh is one. Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula is another. The Titans will be open-minded, Fowler writes, knowing they can pair a defensive head coach with a strong, established offensive play caller. Some of the candidates to interview for the head coaching position could become coordinator options, too. Landing a strong staff for the head coach is paramount for Tennessee's new front office. Ramon, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Of all the candidates we know who are interviewing, and today, as Justin just told you, it's Chiefs Coordinator Day, Steve Spagnuolo and Matt Nagy. Who is the candidate interviewing today or interviewing this week or next week that you would most like to be a coordinator on whoever the new head coach's staff is?
This list of coaches again. Reel them off to me again. We got.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, I know, because when you think of it,
It's
I
growing.
want to just put it in. That's what she said.
Okay. Take our pause and we move forward. Okay, yeah, the list is growing. How about that? Of future interviewees of the Tennessee. You used to be better than when you were 39. You were better than this.
My friends,
40-year-old Ramon is gone more to the dark
is
side.
not a man. No, we're not. What you got for me? Talk to me.
All right, let me make sure I got all these.
All right.
Jason Garrett, Steve Spagnuolo, Matt Nagy. We also have Jeff Hafley, Arthur Smith, Kevin Stefanski, Vance Joseph, Raheem Morris. That's 8. Who have I not mentioned?
That's it.
I think there. Oh, Matt Nagy. I don't think I mentioned.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. You did mention
Did
that.
I mention Jeff Hafley?
Yes.
That would be okay. There's Robert Saleh.
Solid.
That's 9. I believe there is one more that has been requested. F&M Bank Chat, hit me up if you feel like I missed one. Did I put Arthur in there?
Yeah,
I don't
did.
know.
You did.
Anyway.
Of that group, I got my guy that excites me the most. Come on, words. Come on, get it together. I'm going to eliminate one. I just don't see a scenario in which Robert Saleh moves laterally.
Really?
If that makes sense. No. With what he's doing with such a young defense that he has over there right now,
Makes sense.
young and injured.
Yep.
And personally,
Lou Anarumo, that's the other one. Sorry, that's the one I mentioned.
And personally, I legitimately look at him and I see West Coast right now. I think he's such a West Coast guy that I don't think he would leave that to come be a coordinator in Tennessee for what he's built so far in this year. I think he needs one more trip around the sun. I think he strengthened his name. So I'm eliminating him.
Okay.
The guy that I think I would like to see on the staff if he doesn't get the head coaching job is Spagnuolo.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome. What motivation do you think he would have to leave Kansas City to be another coordinator?
Aging out, I would think. Get an opportunity to rebuild here and extend his time as a DC. I think personally Kansas City's closer to a rebuilding now, albeit it's going to be easier with Patrick Mahomes being a part of it, though, too. But I see that group somewhat getting broken down in a sense of where they are as a team. And I don't want to say a front office, but where they are as a team. I think you give yourself more grace to come and build this up. If Spag wants to go and be a head coach again later, it'd be better suited, I think, here in Nashville than where it is right now in Kansas City. Patrick, how long is that going to take for him to get back to?
Patrick Mahomes?
I think he should do a calendar year. He had that surgery fast.
Yeah, I'd guess the way he's wired, he's going to try to be back week 1.
Week 1.
We'll see. There's only so many wires that can be crossed that quickly in your knee, obviously. I think it's Matt Nagy. I think Matt Nagy might be the offensive coordinator of the Titans when the dust settles here. I think that Matt Nagy, if you hire a defensive head coach, is an easy pitch, Ramon.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, while you're there with Andy Reid, it's going to be hard for you to differentiate yourself and be head and shoulders above play-calling offensive coordinators as they look to earn head coaching positions. Why don't you come work for us? We'll give you the offense. We're going to hire a defensive head coach and let you manage. You're the head coach of the offense.
Yeah.
And as soon as you can get a head coaching opportunity, we would love for you to take that chance. But you're only going to get that best chance if you come here.
This is true.
I don't know.
Do you have any, because I don't, anybody pushing one guy or saying this guy's a favorite? I don't even know what the Vegas odds are on head coach.
Matt Nagy is the overwhelming Vegas favorite to be the next
job.
Titans head coach.
And I still don't believe it, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah,
He's
it's
interviewing
kind of
with the Ravens on Sunday.
Yeah, he is. It's kind of a hard thing to
see
predict
that.
from a Vegas perspective.
Yeah.
It's not really an exact science. I mean, sometimes I guess they know things that we don't know. But
That's very true, too. I just see if Nagy's leaving Kansas City to be the offensive coordinator here, I don't see the benefit of it, to be quite honest with you. I think
the benefit is calling plays.
Yeah, that's true, too. But I look at his situation. He's not going to get any hotter.
I think he will.
You think he will?
Why don't you
As
think
an
he'd get
OC?
any hotter? As an OC?
I mean, he goes from one interview to 4 already right now in this year. It's
sure, but is he going to get any of them?
Any of the jobs?
I think he's stuck in the same place that Eric Bieniemy was. It's hard to be Andy Reid's offensive coordinator and differentiate yourself, because what's stopping teams from being like, well, that's not your offense. That's Andy Reid's offense. That's not your offense. That's Patrick Mahomes' offense.
So true.
Well, let's get away from the Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes umbrella. Can you do it with a new head coach and with a new quarterback?
If he does it here, it's going to take a heck of a change in the offseason for the team. And that's the hope.
How so? What do you mean?
Because, again, the weapons, youth, defensive side help, too.
No doubt.
Like,
for sure.
It's one thing to be very offensive, but it's another thing to be supported by defense, too. That's one thing I will say he's had in Kansas City as of late. The better him is what I'm getting in his career is a real good defense, and that's the most obvious take ever. But when his defense is bad, his offense doesn't show to be that good.
Commenter on YouTube says, I don't know, Will, because the guy just told a national media guy that he wants to be a head coach and not call plays. Agreed. 100%. Great point. However, in order to get that opportunity to be a head coach and not call plays, I think he's going to have to call plays somewhere else first. In the same way that Tennessee offensive coordinator Joey Halsley is going to have a challenge being a head coach because he works for Josh Heupel, who calls the plays. It's hard for you as a non-offensive coordinator play caller to differentiate yourself. Best example of that, Ramon, is the guy the Titans just let go in Brian Callahan.
B. Callahan.
It didn't work for him in part because the process of being head coach and being a first-time play caller in the NFL was too much to handle. I think it's one of the reasons why he was not successful here. We'll see.
I still don't have. I'm with you. It's all wait and see type of situations. I was going back and forth commenting about in Borgonzi you trust type of conversation. Here's the thing: no matter who it is, I don't think everybody's going to be satisfied.
Oh, there's no question. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I think there's two options who are most likely, probably three, that I look at that are interviewing for head coach who are most likely to be Titans coordinators in the future. That's Nagy, who I just mentioned, Raheem Morris, because I think he's going to end up being a defensive coordinator somewhere this time around, and Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, I say it in the order of likelihood there. I think Jason Garrett's probably least likely.
Okay.
Maybe you bring him in to be quarterback's coach, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm not in the room. I have no clue.
I wonder what the conversation is for Denard Wilson, though.
If John Harbaugh gets hired here, he knows a thing or two about
that could be a
Wilson.
transition, but does he also go get his defensive coordinator in Baltimore to come with him too? Zach
Potentially.
Orr.
My follow-up question would be, if Denard had stayed in Baltimore, would he have been promoted to defensive coordinator when Mike McDonald got him?
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot we don't know, a lot we're figuring out, and a lot of fun to be had. 615-737-1045, our number. Thursday 3 picks for playoff football is next. Roberta Will at 104.5. The Zone continues. As we get back to Thursday 3 on a Thursday morning. How about that? Remote Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, our producer. What?
We should do we should start incorporating coaching odds here. I think that would be a good topic too. It won't be because nobody knows, but
you want to pick the Titans' next head coach for one of your?
I did on our TikTok thing.
One of your.
I picked Stefanski.
Oh, okay, good.
That was my pick.
What's the spread?
I'm gonna go look. I'll go look. Let's play.
Where's Stefanski?
As we call it, whose line is it anyway? As they call it on Pardon My Take.
Whose lying is it anyway?
Like line is it like Vegas line?
No,
almost like the old TV show. Whose line is it anyway?
I'm actually speaking about liar, like people who tell lies, because I think that's all it is. We're in the season, not necessarily the season of lies right now. As you effort to go find this, so I'm giving you a little time. A bunch of lies is what I'm telling you. Like my thing is like everything's a lie right now.
Sure.
You know. So
collusion.
Yeah, a lot of collusion is bad.
Let's go
in this world.
AOL.com. When was this posted? I want
AOL?
Yeah.
Like the website? America Online?
Yes.
Are you serious? That's still live?
You can still go to AOL. Let's see what the top headline is on AOL.com right now.
Oh, man. I didn't know that was still live.
AOL. Can I go to sports on AOL.com? This is riveting radio, by the way.
Jeez, that's good stuff by you, man.
Games. I can play games on AOL.com. It doesn't look like there's a sports section. News. News sports. Okay. AOL.com. Here's the U.S. Figure Skating Championship schedule. Line up for day 2. Wow.
Hold up. Winter Olympics is kicked off already?
No.
No, that's figure skating.
This is U.S. Figure Skating Championships.
Side
there are
topic.
other countries that will compete when it's the Olympics.
I'm so excited.
For the Winter Olympics?
I love it.
You want to know a hot take? Yep, y'all probably like this.
Don't make me hate you.
We could never have the Winter Olympics, and I wouldn't really miss it.
It's all right for you to leave. It's okay for you to just leave.
It's 80 different ways.
Right.
It's 80 different ways.
I love it.
It's 80 different ways to slide down an icy hill.
Yeah, it is.
It could be an email.
And I dare you to go up on the half pipe, okay?
I'm not going to
this way.
It takes a lot of skill. It's just like it's the same skill for every sport.
Well, if that's the case, go ahead and get rid of pickleball. If that's the case,
do you like running? Do you watch?
Justin, you are not prepared for the long answer I'm about to give.
Do you like
that
to
question.
watch track and field?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes,
What's wrong with them doing it on skis?
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong
down
with
a
it.
mountain.
It's
Why
just
don't you
not,
want to watch it?
It's just not as riveting to me as the Summer Olympics are.
It's more.
Oh my God!
It's more
I'll watch
intense.
it. Like don't get me wrong. I don't dislike the Winter Olympics. I just if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be like, oh man, I missed the Winter Olympics. Like it would just kind of like.
do.
Okay.
I do. What's the one where they jump off the ramp? Which one is that one?
That's my point. That's most of the sports.
I know what it is. But listen, have you ever seen them training for that when they got to jump off that cliff?
I have a lot of respect for it.
Oh, my God.
It's kind of the same.
No, way different. Listen to me. The bobsleigh? Oh, my gosh.
Jamaica got a bobsled team. I'm going to go watch Cool Runnings today now. Great movie, by the way.
Amazing movie. Okay, I don't like the figure skating side of it, the competition and everything, but like the jumping off of a cliff where they got to keep their body straight and they could die if they land wrong.
Ski jumping.
And that's way better than any 100-meter race that you can put on TV.
Hey, whoa.
Hey, you criticize my Olympics, I'm taking yours out too.
The best Summer Olympic sport does not need to be slandered for you to prop up your Winter Olympics.
A 10,000-meter run.
Yeah, absolutely. A 25 laps of grit.
Jumping in water, getting out of it.
I like it commercial free, too.
Try doing it on hills with skis.
Yeah, I have. It's called cross country, just without the skis part.
This is why NASCAR's taking a dip. Okay, we just run in circles and then in circles and in circles.
Now we are talking in circles. No, I'm exaggerating it. I do like the Winter Olympics. I don't hate it.
Absolutely. Curling?
Don't come back on it.
That's my favorite Olympic sport. You know why? Because it's not sliding down a hill. It's different.
Sliding down the ice.
I would wake up.
Rushing.
When I was a senior in high school, I woke up at 5 a.m. to watch curling live. Because I didn't want it spoiled. I love curling.
Commenter says the pickleball craze is stupid to me. I ain't calling it stupid. I think it has its
not
niche.
even winter.
But here's the thing. You can't even play that in a two-person. Me and the wife went and did it one day in pickleball and back and forth. And I was just like, I think we need like 2 more people with us.
It's like supersized ping pong.
But at least with ping pong, is more like
Marty Supreme, Christmas Day.
Excitement behind it.
Marty Supreme, Christmas Day.
I'm disparaging pickleballing, but I'm watching. I can't wait to watch the Winter Olympics.
Okay. Well, According to AOL.com, the U.S. Figure Skating Championship schedule is up there. You can read about it there. That's how we got off track here. All right, let's go back to Titans odds to be the next head coach. Look, the PR companies have probably sent this to my email like 80 times over the last 24 hours, and I still have no clue. Okay, DraftKings. This is Johnny Maffey who tweeted this.
All right. What's up, Johnny?
Reporter, Fox Nashville. DraftKings just sent me the next Titans head coach odds. We just talked about who the favorite is. We know who the favorite is.
Yeah, Nagy.
Matt Nagy, plus 130. Who do you think the second favorite is? Plus 400.
Stefanski.
Actually, he's... let me see. Maybe this is in my email, too. This is, again, riveting radio we're doing right now.
This is the betting segment, and we can talk odds right here.
Well, that's true. That's true. He's got Lou Anarumo plus 400 as the second
Lou
best.
Is?
It was a little surprising.
Very, in my
On this list, Mike McCarthy's plus 650 at third. John Harbaugh plus 800. I don't know if he's listed all the names here, this reporter that's put it out there, because he has Bill Belichick plus 8,000 as his fourth name. Obviously, that's not the fourth best odds, but anyway. Okay.
All right.
So
enticing.
It's something.
Lou Anarumo, number 2 on the list.
I don't know. If you're betting on who the next head coach of a team is going to be, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Listen.
I'm not judging. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I personally didn't think Lou was ready for a head coaching job, like ever.
Here, that would be a challenge to fire Brian Callahan and then go get the longtime Bengals defensive coordinator after you just had the Bengals offensive coordinator. That's not fair to Lou Anarumo. That's just usually the reality of the way coaching searches work. Thursday 3 picks. We do this every Thursday at 9:20. Recently, they've been on Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday or any other day. Ramon is 32-25.
Cooking.
I am proud of us as a collective and how we've done this year. There was one year you were like 15 games under 500. Those days are long gone.
I'm talking about into my past.
You're doing really well.
Like Matt Nagy's past. Gone.
Look at that. I am 31-26, and Justin Hawkins goes from first to worst.
Just it.
30-27.
Loser.
We'll go in that.
You ain't wrong.
We'll go in that order. 40-year-old Ramon Foster has not changed at all. Age has not changed you. Okay. Ramon, your first pick, please.
My first
DraftKings Sportsbook live odds, what we use for this.
I've lived this life for...
And again, we're not betting our real money on this. Okay, go ahead.
No, we're not. I've lived this life for a good bit, and I'm actually removing the Bills-Jags from mine. It's too close to call on.
Oh, okay.
I am.
Interesting.
And I looked at the schedule, and I said, home game to a team that plays messy, and I recently heard my quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, mention headsets going out of New England.
Okay.
They don't lose at home.
They did to the Bills a few weeks ago.
They wasn't Mike Vrabel with this type of just madness behind it. And it's also the Chargers, who I don't know if I could trust their quarterback in that stadium against this team with Stephon Diggs and other players with legal issues behind them. They don't lose like this, okay? Give me the -3.5 Pats. It's just a dangerous place to play at in the playoffs. I will promise y'all this. There will be a fire alarm pulled in the opposing team's hotel. A fire will break out in the kitchen where everybody's got to evacuate. Weird stuff happened in New England in the playoff time. Give me the 3.5.
Fair enough. How many times did you play playoff games in New England?
I think like 3 of them. 3 in each time. Or big money.
3?
Yeah. You don't win up there.
There's a guy named Tom Brady who used to play quarterback back then. Oh, hey, breaking news, NFL. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Adam Schefter is reporting that the Miami Dolphins are firing head coach Mike McDaniel. How about that? Thursday morning firing. Dolphins owner Stephen Ross met with McDaniel this week to discuss the season. After that meeting and reflection, Ross decided to move on. Another head coaching vacancy in the National Football League.
On a Thursday.
After that meeting and reflection, Stephen Ross decided to move on. Adam Schefter writes, he reflected on John Harbaugh becoming available.
That's exactly it. That Harbaugh to Miami.
Wait, is that his pick, though? I mean, Miami may want him. If you're John Harbaugh, do you want to be a part of that? With $100 million of dead cap money on Tua probably staring you dead in the face?
Yep. Yep. And
Why?
Yep.
Why would that be the
what
pick?
was this conversation heard? Allegedly. I was having a conversation with somebody. They were describing Tua potentially being pushed out.
Yeah.
And giving him the, Bobby Bonilla Day treatment.
Oof.
Deferring his payment. Cutting him basically, guarantee his pay and deferring it to Bobby Bonilla Day type of scenarios.
I don't know if that
he
kind
doesn't
of cap
love it.
gymnastics work in the NFL.
They do void years.
Yeah, I'm obviously
It's the
not
first time for everything.
Preeminent contract expert.
Me either,
others
at
would
all.
be. Maybe we can get Mike Giannitti back in here, who's been on the show a couple times.
OC me for him.
So, they will owe $99 million a dead cap on Tua Tagovailoa with a new head coach. I don't think that's a very attractive opening, personally.
If their ownership gives you everything that you need, which I think
but
Ross will.
There's only so much you can be given versus the salary cap that now has
Fair.
a $99 million charge of Tua on it if you don't want Tua playing for you, which, I mean, come on. Tua's not.
They still got to get their GM too.
Right?
This is where if John Harbaugh wants more control, this is it. Align them.
They can certainly offer that. We'll see how desperate they are. Would you take Mike McDaniel as an offensive coordinator here, Ramon?
I said that earlier this offseason. Well, back in December. Yes, I would. If it's Cam.
I think I would too. I have no question about Mike McDaniel's ability to draw up plays.
Oh.
I think his timing and decision-making as a play caller is a bit more in question. But I have no doubt the guy can call plays. Or the guy can draw up plays. Kind of the same questions I have about Joe Brady, to be honest with you.
Some people are better off, I said, as lieutenants and not generals.
Yeah, man, he's going to get the chance to be a lieutenant again.
Yeah, he is.
Interesting.
Wow.
I wonder if Robert Saleh does get a head coach job, got to think there's a strong chance Mike McDaniel ends up wherever Robert Saleh goes.
Kind of feels that way.
With their time together in San Francisco.
Wow.
Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel combination? Signing up for that?
Saleh's the only ace that I'm unsure about. I personally don't know if he leaves. He's taking the interview. There's that.
So, head coaching vacancies in the NFL. Arizona Cardinals, Atlanta Falcons, Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, Las Vegas Raiders, Miami Dolphins, New York Giants, Tennessee Titans. Okay.
Miami got good bones about it, though, as far as skill players go.
You know what the best part about it is? His name's Mike.
You sicko.
I'm just saying.
You sicko. You a true sicko.
Mikes have success.
From Mike Munchak to Mike Malarkey to Mike Vrabel to Mike McCoy to Mike Borgonzi to Mike McDaniel.
I'm telling you, there's a trend.
That's so real.
Bring in Mike McCarthy as the head coach
Mike McCarthy.
and Mike McDaniel as the OC.
Mike and
Find
Mike.
another Mike. Find another Mike for DC.
Are there any Mike's defense coordinators? 615-737-1045.
Monday, Tuesday might be Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Goodness sakes.
I feel like that's an impulse fire, though.
It's really funny.
Not that it's an
Dolphins?
impulse fire. It's not an impulse fire.
Do you think Mike McDaniel gets fired if John Harbaugh isn't available?
Nope. Because what was the report? The report was
there was one team, at least one team,
sitting.
that was reaching out to John Harbaugh, who had a head coach.
Do you think it's also possible with the 4 candidates they have left for their GM search that none of them wanted to work with Mike McDaniel?
That's probably true.
I do think that's possible too. Because the reporting out there was that they were asking GM candidates how they would solve head coach.
Maybe they solved it.
And if I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm probably not fighting to stick around as much as that's been out there. Like, at what point do you just be like, you know what? Like, if you really got to think that hard about me staying, why don't I just go ahead and pack up and
leave?
You know
what's wild? That's 2 coaches, too. Emmett brings it up in the chat that 2 was kind of killed off. Flores, who told him the truth.
You ain't kidding.
And now McDaniel.
Great point. Okay, well, there you go. Mike McDaniel has been fired by the Miami Dolphins. Another vacancy.
You can't put yourself in the head coaching job. Search Mike in Cleveland.
What's
his name's Mike?
Mike
in Cleveland. Cuzzo Mike, he says. His name is Mike. If your name is Mike, Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park will welcome you. I'm kidding, obviously. Don't show up. Please don't show up to the facility and say Ramon and Will sent you.
Please don't.
All right, we got to go quickly through Thursday 3 now.
Right.
I like the Jags plus 1.5 against the Bills.
I picked them too.
I think Jacksonville has the run defense that you have to beat Buffalo. I think Buffalo struggles against teams that can take away the explosive run game with James Cook. Miami beat them. Mike McDaniel. Now fired Mike McDaniel beat the Bills, holding them to 87 rushing yards. Philadelphia held them to 120. I worry about Buffalo's ability to stop the run as well, because I think the opposite can be said on the other side of the ball. I think Jacksonville thrives when Travis Etienne and Basil Tootin can take some pressure off of Trevor Lawrence. I'm worried about Van Lanham's injury at left tackle for Buffalo or for Jacksonville. That's the struggle. The other part of this I think is underrated. Trevor Lawrence, 5.2 carries, 24.5 rushing yards per game, 7 rushing touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence, Ramon, in the last 10 games. The Bills struggle to stop mobile quarterbacks. The Bills allowed 6.7 yards per carry to quarterbacks. That is the highest rate by any team in the playoffs. I like Trevor Lawrence's ability with his legs to pick up yardage in the run game. I like the Jags' ability to slow down the Bills' run game. Give me Jags plus 1.5 against the Bills. And I know I just said we're going to move through this quickly, and then I went on a soliloquy about Jags and Bills. I apologize. Justin, your first pick, please. Thanks.
Why, thank you. Speaking of Mike Vrabel, I'm going to piggyback off of Ramon a little bit. Didn't have time to change my pick, so we're going to take Patriots minus 3.5 at home. You just can't. Gillette Stadium at night. Sunday Night Football. Playoffs.
Muskets will be firing.
Yeah. The Chargers have offensive line woes. That's my biggest thing here. But
do.
Can the Patriots generate enough pass rush? I don't know. But I'm going to take the Patriots at home. Just more comfortable with that one, especially Mike Vrabel can outcoach.
Love it.
Mine, I got a sinister pick on this one, just to be quite honest with you. Indiana, Oregon. Give me plus 3.5 Oregon, just because Buck's going.
Oh, he's going?
Yeah, he's going to have a suite.
Yeah, I heard it yesterday on the show.
They don't have a basketball? He has a suite.
He has a suite.
No, he's a part of a suite.
Well, he's whatever. He's sitting in a suite.
Of course, that was part of the details. Of
how
only
sweet
because
it is.
Buck is going on that one. I ain't got no other pick on that one. They beat them 30-20 the last time. I just don't see Oregon just laying down the way they did this last time. Indiana's solid. I'm honestly ain't no real way to pick this one other than plus 3.5 Oregon.
Like getting into a fraternity party, Buck should be forced to name 5 Indiana players to be able to go to that game.
He'd gladly tell you he don't know them.
Yeah, exactly. Eagles minus 4.5 against San Francisco. I think San Fran's too banged up. I think that what Brock Purdy does offensively matches up with what Philly stops defensively. This is a little bit inside baseball, but on offense, Brock Purdy has thrown 9 of his 10 interceptions on in-breaking routes. The Eagles allowed a league-low 51% completion percentage on in-breaking routes. That is the lowest rate allowed by a defense in a season since 2016, since Next Gen Stats started tracking such things. Trent Williams didn't practice yesterday. Ricky Pearsall's banged up. I think Christian McCaffrey's out of gas. I think they used him too much during the season. I just think San Francisco, while maybe I think on paper the best team in the NFC, is out of gas. They're too banged up. I don't trust that defense. I think A.J. Brown makes a big play because these are the kinds of games he plays really well in. Eagles minus 4.5 against San Fran.
I like it. Ramon, I think you stole my picks, but Oregon, Indiana, the Peach Bowl on Friday. I'm going to take the under 48.5 in this one. I think the defenses are going to prevail. And what Oregon showed last week against Texas Tech, 23-0, I think Oregon has finally proved to me that they are for real. Defense versus defense, I like this battle. I think Indiana is probably going to pick up the win and go to the national championship game, but I think it's going to go under 48.5.
I think it's a good pick. And I think that Oregon's inability to be totally healthy all year on offense is a big reason why that's a good pick as well.
Last pick for me is Packers-Bears. Big rivalry at home in Chicago. Give me plus 1.5 Bears. There's no way they lose at home like this. Run game will play a huge part, and I do think this is the growth game that we will see from Caleb Williams.
Okay.
I feel like I have to change it. I have that game
I took that one too.
Oh, my goodness.
Real one, really?
Well, while you decide whether or not you're going to match or go opposite of that, I have the under tonight. Miami, Ole Miss, under 52.5. I think Miami's defense has Trinidad Chambliss running for his life. He is certainly capable of making those same plays against Miami that he made against Georgia and running around like crazy and finding an open receiver. I'm just not going to bet on it.
Feel that.
He can 100% prove me wrong. It's just which thing do you believe more in? Messidor and Bain getting after him or Chambliss neutralizing that rush and making a big play? I think the difference is Mark Fletcher Jr. I think Miami's ability to wear down the Ole Miss defense, running duo at a pistol 30 times tonight, makes the difference. And I think they shorten the game because they are able to run so well. So I like under 52.5 tonight in Miami Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take Packers plus 1.5 or minus 1.5?
Plus, no.
He took Bears
took
minus
Bears.
1.5. Or
Okay.
plus
Plus 1.5.
God,
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
took
pluses
Bears.
and minuses.
Okay. All right. Yep. That was my pick. So I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna take. I think the Texans are minus 3.5.
I'll check.
Monday
Stand
night
by.
against the Steelers. You don't want to
they're
take.
favorite.
You don't want to go against the home underdog against Mike Tomlin, but I'm going to do it here.
Oh.
Simply because his name is Mike, and I'm tired of Mikes. And yeah, I mean,
like that
look,
reason.
Texas defense is the best in the NFL. Probably one of the best defenses we've seen in a long time. I'm going to take the defense here.
Okay.
Sorry to
I was
lose
going to go with the under, but I
Texans-
decided too quickly to go 3.5.
Texans minus 3. Yeah, I'll take away the half point. Minus 3. I'll also give you a half point. Final thoughts, final headlines. Who knows what else will break in the next couple minutes, because we've had a lot of breaking news this morning as we wrap up the show next.
Hawks Logs.
It's Ramon Foster for Bronze Motorsports. Yes, that company, that car designer right there, man, well, they believe in this. You dream it, they design it and build it for you. They're located in 789 West Main Street in Hendersonville, Tennessee, but you see them everywhere. And that's because if you're ready to elevate your vehicle, Bronze Motorsports, man, they specialize in transforming rides with statement-making custom wheels, immersive audio experiences, and head-turning styles through custom tints and wraps. I'm going back and forth right now trying to figure out what I'm going to do to my truck, and I know where I'm taking it. I'm taking it to Bron, man. It's that simple. If you want, tire and wheels done, lift kits, lighting kits, winches, interior, and audio customizations, they will do that for you. And they're just good, simply put. One of the best companies around, honest and upfront, and they will always find whatever is in your budget to fit your vehicle and what you want to do, whether you want to wrap it, whether you want to put some speakers in it, just simply tint it. They will do those things for you. I've had vehicles done by Brian. I've been satisfied every single time. I don't care if you have a Jeep or Bronco, an exotic car. It doesn't matter. Truck. Doesn't matter. Big truck, rehab car. They will do all those things for you. Simply put, you can go to bronzemotorsports.com or hit them up on all their social medias at Bronze Motorsports. But make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up the show on this Thursday morning. If you missed the breaking news a few minutes ago, Mike McDaniel has been fired by the Miami Dolphins. Ian Rappaport at Rap Sheet on Twitter says he will immediately go to the top of the list for offensive coordinators around the league.
That's the way I see him.
Yeah.
I think as a head coach, respectfully, I'll say this, too childish in how he went about certain stuff.
You got to wear pants that fit when you have a losing record as a head coach.
And as a OC, you're still allowed to have fun as a position coach or an OC.
That's 100% right.
Yeah, we heard Brooke Price say that about Arthur Smith. Like he's leaning more on what she say to the dinosaurs or history or whichever one it was. You're allowed to do
history
that.
Buff.
Your history buff, I think, is what it was for him. It was something he was into.
Yeah, right.
But as a head coach, you're not allowed to do those things. Not publicly. Him riding by a Bill's sports bar with the window down. You know what I'm saying? Like
I respect the pettiness.
I do too. And you know what I'm saying? Him running off the field, having the reporters chase him. Like,
yeah,
there's a seriousness to the job. And he fell into it.
Yeah, he definitely did. What is it? The Cartier glasses? Is that what he wore?
Yeah, the white buff on. Yeah, it was buff on.
I'd probably just go get some, I don't know.
Those glasses, you know the reason he wore it? It's Miami culture. He dove into it. Those glasses, you want to hear how much those glasses, those Cartier glasses are? Especially the white buffs.
I couldn't even tell you a number.
$1,500.
$2,500 or more for probably the white ones.
Dang, for sunglasses? They block the sun?
A second hat. No, it's just a style, baby.
See, but then what? I got to have sunglasses that block the sun. That's the whole point. I don't want to squint.
Oh, that's just jewelry. Okay, that's what that is. Face jewelry. Face jewelry is what that is.
I don't know.
My boy got a part of that culture down there.
I'm not bougie enough for that.
Or the Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones he got on. Go get you some black ones like Mike T does.
I was going to say that's Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. No, Jai, ain't nobody hate. I'm just telling you what it is. It's the seriousness to the job. We got to call it both ways on this type of stuff. It's cool when you winning. When you losing,
anything I say, Giles gonna hate. Don't worry about it.
I respect his take on that one. I know what he's saying, but as my head coach, I want a serious guy when it come down to that lane.
It's just because I said it. Don't worry.
Let my position coach.
This one guy in the chat just hates me. It's okay.
Let my head coach laugh off, in the building. I need that guy representation of me outside. Let me be the one playing around in public.
Last night at Memorial Gym, after 3 hours of basketball, Vanderbilt beats Alabama, and Tyler Tanner said it right after the game. You don't think we didn't play any really good teams now? Alabama? Nate Oates said a little too much for that game, and Vandy had a little bit more fuel to the fire that they did not need.
Oh, Nate Oates called
Nate Oates
him
for
out?
the game said, well, they hadn't really played any really good quality opponents.
Nate.
Vandy is legit. They are absolutely the front runner of the SEC, still undefeated, one of 6 teams left. I would have loved to see that game played with LeBaron Philon for 40 minutes and not only 19 for him on the floor. I know Nate Oates said after the game, like, how are we only playing 19 minutes getting full body cramps? Nate Oates, he did not have a filter, man. That guy will say anything.
Is that a shot at him, or is this
Yes.
Alabama trainers?
Yes.
Okay.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Man, Mark Byington has done an unbelievable job with that team. Tyler Tanner is one of the most improved players in college basketball. Duke Miles has come in and been a perfect fit out of Oklahoma, out of the portal, defensively, offensively. Mark Byington coached circles around Nate Oates last night. It was like Alabama's whole strategy, Ramon, was just chuck up threes and pray and try to rebound. They went to the press too late for me defensively. I thought they should have gone to their full court press sooner. I think Mark Byington's doing one of the best coaching jobs in the sport, if not the best coaching job to this point in college basketball this season.
Nate Oates seemed to look like they deserved to be on the floor last night. They were talented enough. He got a coach, to your point.
He did.
Anytime they caught up, Vanderbilt said, okay, we got this trick for you. The adjustments were always a timeout too late or series up and down the floor. Too slow for them to adjust to it. They got the shooters. They got everything that you want at Alabama. But Vanderbilt deserved that when they earned it, and Memorial Gym was rocking. You heard it through the TV broadcast last night.
They showed up.
100%.
They've not showed up enough this year, but they showed up last night.
They
Vandy fans.
did? Well,
It was full last night.
They
It
don't
needs to
say
be
they
full
ain't playing
moving forward.
nobody. So that's why. SEC play now, though, man.
All our Vandy fans in the chat are like, oh, you're finally talking Vandy basketball. Guys, we're in the middle of a coaching search. It's not. We haven't talked. Tennessee beat Texas the other night. You didn't hear a word about it on the show. Ed. Not just a Vandy thing. There's a coaching search.
We deep in this thing, y'all.
March will be here.
By the way, NFL television ratings up another 10%. So if you catch us talking NFL football over another conference or sport, hockey, then this is why. Hawk.
Back at it tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. We got to get out of here. We'll have Brent Hubbs talking Vols Portal, all the nuggets you need tomorrow morning.
Peace. Well, remember at all times, your Twitter fingers are your mic. Always hot, baby.